How we doing, guys? All good? Everybody's doing well? Turn that down. Yeah, how we doing? Welcome, welcome. Let's see who we got in here. Steve, how you doing, mate? How we doing? Let me just get this the music turned off. Yeah, all good. Let's see what we got in here tonight. Lots of people on time today. Even I was on time today. Always a good sign. All right, let's get this chat window sorted out. Stephen Versity Beauty, how you doing? And Beauty, are you part of my other like social media? Like, are you under a different name there? Like, or are you just a YouTuber? Or am I just not recognizing you from like Facebook or Instagram or something? But how you doing anyway? Yeah, good to see you again. I mean, Steve, you normally talk, Steve. What are you talking about? Good. Chris, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Yeah, sorry about the mix-up with your image, Chris, earlier on. That was a weird one. Facebook's been weird with hiding comments. Like, even from me, there was a post I did on Friday where like there was actually a bunch of comments that I responded to, and then I come back on like Saturday or something like that, and like they're all gone. It's like, what? Yeah, I can't even see them. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe it could be the browser, but I think there's a lot of funny stuff going on. And like with your image, just wasn't viewable at all. I think there are certain images that may be deemed as risky. Maybe go through like a kind of a purgatory of like we need to check this image sort of thing before it's public. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, it's a great image, and I could see it in the end. Yeah. Vlad, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. You're not too late. No, you're not. You're not late. Yeah. I mean, you would have been on time had I been late. So, take from that what you will. Gripes, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. All right, let's get this. Anybody else in here that wants to sound off before we get started? Let's see who's hanging out tonight. Who's ready to nerd out tonight with the latest tech nerdness that we go through here, which is actually not particularly nerdy unless it's lighting. But yeah, if it's just kit and stuff, then it's not too bad. I'm just gonna make sure this stream is the music's off, looking good. Yeah. So yeah, just tuning in, and this is kind of the first one you've been. What are we doing here? What is this live stream all about? We tend to do these every couple of weeks, and what we do is really chat about some of the sort of recent news, photo related. It's usually kit, right? Usually revolves around kit. So any new product releases and that sort of stuff. Do a little bit of that, and then we usually cover a topic. It could be anything from color to light to product, or a new product that I've been kind of sent or playing with and that sort of stuff. We usually kind of focus on that, discuss that, and then we also go through and take a look at some of your images, right? So this is an opportunity to share some of your work. You can do that on my Facebook page. I'm just going to grab the link here. Let's have a look. So I'll share my screen. Yeah. So that's the. So every Monday we do a share a shoot post, which you can see here, and on my Facebook page, and yeah, people just kind of share what they've been working on, and it's a good opportunity if you want some sort of feedback from me. Then that's a good place to start. Okay, right. So my chat wasn't updating then. You guys saw that, right? That was kind of weird. Yeah. I was like, did everybody just leave? Let's have a look. What did I miss then? Beauty was here last stream, Vlad. Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't know whether he was part of the Instagram crowd or not. Yeah. Sleepy Robot, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Are you normally under a different name, Sleepy, or are you always on the YouTube under that name? Yeah. Yeah, plenty to be every week. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm all right. I mean, like these guys in chat could could do us some work. Normally, ways relevant to say. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Yeah. Anders, how you doing, mate? Love the image, Anders. Yeah, have a look at that in a second. Well, it's right there, actually. Yeah, we can see it right there. Yeah, it's good stuff. James, how you doing? Jamie, you made it. Nice. I'm only here to make sure everyone likes, subscribes, hit the bell. Mate, you are on it tonight. I love it. Yeah, let me get this chat window so you guys can actually see it. Right, so that's what I was going to do. Yeah, grab a link. So if anybody wants to share an image in the share sheet, they can do. So pop that in there. Head over to the Facebook page and just pop your image in the comments, and we'll go through it in a bit. We actually got a lot of images this week, and providing you guys don't bait me into any softbox talk or black and white blasphemy, we might actually get a chance to get through them all. Vlad just added one. Nice, Vlad. Nice. And there's Tony, our resident Aussie. Jamie, that's looking cool, man. Liking that. Nigel, Christ, the quality, guys, the quality. I'm gonna have to start banning some of you. Some of it this is getting a bit good. You know, it's making me look bad. Jesus Christ. Tommy, Melissa, nice. Jason, this is cool. It's looking good. Oh wow, then that's awesome. Wow, we got some crackers here. Some crackers. Yeah, good stuff. Steve, I saw your comment about the latest release. Yeah, we'll check that out. Thank you for that. I hadn't seen that. Yeah, damn, it's looking cool. Yeah, okay. Jesus, guys, ain't it in? Yeah. Is no one but I gotta talk about digital noise if we don't. That's true, mate. That's true. What would we talk about? Yeah, what would we talk about? So yeah, pop your image in there. Like I actually had a couple of stories there that I was gonna talk about, but I've kind of killed them off just because they were just kind of fillers. And last week was the photo show here. Did anybody in chat go to the photo show last week here in the UK? Those of you that are not aware, it's supposedly our big annual photo show that we do, and typically it's been up north in Birmingham, and this was the first one that we've had in London. And so I went up there last week. I think I was on there on the Sunday. I know I met a few of you. Some of you collared me and had a chat, which was good. It was always good to catch up with some of you in person, which is cool. And had a look at some products. I was also fortunate enough to spend quite a bit of time there with Essential Photo, so the owner of Essential Photo. Essential Photo, if you're not aware, is like one of our major kind of independent camera photography stores here, right, in the UK. And they do tons of lighting. Really, they don't really actually think about it. They don't do any cameras. It's really kind of all kit wise, yeah. And very, very fortunate to speak to Yang, the owner there, and he gave me a lot of his time going through some of the products from Godox, because they're Essential Photo is now, I think, the only official distributor of Godox here in the UK. So he was kind of showing me through, or taking me through, some of the kind of newer products, specifically the Knowled range, no LED. Knowled range from Godox, which we'll have a look at in a minute, but is certainly targeted towards, in my opinion, probably a different demographic to us photographers. So it's kind of interesting to see Godox kind of branch out and go down that route. So we'll have a look at some videos that I shot last week and just go over some of the bits I thought were kind of interesting, kind of products to kind of chat about and where we think those products are going to sit. I don't know if they're going to be relevant products to many of us here, but I still think it's interesting to kind of look at what these items could do, because a lot of what the Knowled line is kind of targeted to the cinematography and the video world, and there is more and more crossover between us still shooters and video. I know many of you photographers are kind of being asked to shoot a lot of video now, especially, far more so than you were 10, 15 years ago, right? So I think there is way more crossover now. And, many of us are kind of branching into LEDs either almost exclusively, like I am now, because if a client wants video shot, then what are you going to do? You're going to shoot the product with flash and then set everything up again with LED to shoot video? So you're not, right? So a lot of the guys that I know are now just going, do you know what? Let's just move everything over to LED. That means we can shoot the stills and the video for the client, because everybody needs reels and BTS and all this crap. So it's just becoming easier. So the Knowled line from Godox is kind of targeting sort of the upper end of that, so the cinematography style. We'll have a look at some of the bits from that, because they are some unique items that we typically wouldn't use, but I have seen some more photographers using them, so it was kind of interesting to get the kind of rundown on that. Let's see what I missed here. Let's have a look. What we got? I posted one photo from 4 years ago. Hated on Blue Sky, and it got reshared 4 times. Oh, Blue Sky. See, again, I haven't even looked at Blue Sky. I hadn't even gone on there, let alone set up a profile. Are you guys using it? Really? Is it good for visual people? Yeah. James, you went. Okay. What James and Steve, you went. What days did you go out? What did you think? What did you think to the show? I presume both of you have been to the Birmingham NEC in previous years, right? Maybe not last year, but certainly in the past. What did you think to it? What did you think to the show this year, being in London compared to Birmingham? Jamie says Birmingham is definitely the north, Jamie. Anything north of the wall, right? Do you think we have any kind of photoshops in Romania? Really, Vlad? Yeah, I mean, there's tons in the US. There's loads in the US, right? And whenever you go to New York, you always got to go into the pilgrimage into B&H. But there's plenty of the big ones, yeah. You must have the old camera stores at least, right? That sell. There's always an old camera shop somewhere that sells, old film cameras and that sort of things. Essential photo would be cooler if UK was still in the EU. Man, ain't that the truth, Vlad? Ain't that the truth? Let's not go down that road. But I hear you on that. Yeah, I absolutely hear you on that. Yeah. Godox been putting out lights non-stop. It is crazy, Gripes. Yeah, it is crazy. And I think we've kind of spoken about this in the past. And I think Godox has definitely got the infrastructure and the network there to kind of throw everything at the wall to kind of see what sticks, right? And I think there's a ton of products that we've kind of spoken about years ago that they just don't do anything with now because it didn't take off, And I don't think even they could have predicted how popular like the AD200s were going to be, for example, right? I mean, those things everybody, like every photographer I've ever spoken to has had at least one of the AD200s at some point. So I think they throw a lot of things at the wall, and then they kind of drill down on what works and what pans out for them. And look, that they have the backing to be able to do that, whereas most companies don't. But like you say, they put out lights every week, and I wouldn't actually be surprised if that's not an exaggeration. Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah. That's exactly what Vlad just said. Yeah, thank you, Vlad. Yeah. Steve says Knowled irons is like Nanlux, but for the lower end, one Nanlite. Yeah, I agree, Steve. Yeah, I agree. And I think it's interesting to see kind of Godox trying to kind of dig into that world, right? I mean, we kind of spoke about Profoto getting into that world a couple of weeks ago with their new light. What is it, the LD 1800 or something like that, which is basically a massive LED, just beast, single unit. I mean, that's like $8,000, right, that they're putting out, and that's going to be S-Fit as well as Profoto Fit and that sort of thing, but they are strictly targeting like TV and cinema. That being said, I did actually get the first email from them today, kind of pushing it out. I saw Wex, another big camera online camera retailer here in the UK, has now started to ship them. So I just don't know how many stills photographers are going to push that, or get one of those. Not many, I shouldn't think. I'm sure there's some dyed-in-the-wool pro photo fans who will get it though. What was interesting is at the photo show, so Pro Photo was not there, which I don't know, like, I haven't got the stats, but I would say that is the first time in a very long time that Pro Photo was not at the photo show. And I spoke about this last week, or last stream, when I said, look, Pro Photo is now diversifying into cinema. Can it, does it have the budget to kind of push forward full time on both fronts, on both stills and cinema? And look, I know for a fact that they've been pushing this new light, this new cinema light, and they've been going to a lot of video shows, and they dropped the UK photo show. Like, them not being there was crazy to me. Ellancron wasn't there as well, which I kind of noticed. Obviously Roguelite wasn't there. I think there was more politics involved than that, rather than just them not wanting to go, but it's a story for another time. So yeah, it is interesting to see where these companies are going. I would say that was it Steve mentioned Nanlite in there as well? Yes, he's got Nanlux, he's got Nanlite, and I would say that Nanlite is almost trying to get into the YouTuber world as well, right? I think they're trying to tap into that kind of influencer YouTuber world. They're bringing out this little, we kind of reviewed it on here a few weeks back, the 120 watt full color head. I mean, it's tiny. Like, who is that for? If it's it's the tiny head that surely is designed for kind of YouTubers, influencers, that sort of thing. You got Jun coming along as well. I think they make excellent lights, but I think that themselves are kind of targeting that YouTuber influencer market. Aperture, right? Aperture had their Amaran kind of sub brand, if you like, that was targeting the kind of lower end market. And I noticed that Aperture didn't have a presence at the show, but Amaran was. So I think they've fully separated now. So I don't think that there's any kind of tie-in at all now. Certainly not in any of the marketing that I've seen. In fact, because like I said, Amaran had a stand there, but Aperture didn't. Unless I'm missing something, but yeah. So the market is definitely diversifying. People are kind of desperate to kind of get some money outside of the stills market where they can, right? Because the stills market just doesn't have the same amount of money, or maybe it's being spread too thin, right? Everybody and their grandmother has got a new LED light to sell now, so maybe the the butter's being spread too thin. Yeah, Flashpoint is the US Godox kind of Pixel Pro equivalent, I think. Yeah, only use strobes for products since I got the rotor lights and the old shoot fantasy work. So you're saying yes, you still use strobes for products. Why don't you use the LEDs for the products? Do you just I like to shoot everything at f64, Jake, and the LEDs don't give me the juice, or yeah. Also, that starts to feel like a industry where it just release crap once a year and stop supporting and selling the old one from 6 years ago. I think there is definitely like an issue with planned obsolescence now. I feel like that wasn't the case 20 years ago. You could certainly buy a light, and you could say, well, that's cost of it. Innovation. You want new products and that sort of thing, so it's always going to be replaced, but. Yeah, there hasn't been a huge shift, like a huge increment. I use Blue Sky. It's easy to block certain accounts by subscribing to lists. Oh, is that so? Okay, so it does. That's its kind of feature, is it, Jamie? It's got kind of lists that you can target. Interesting. Okay. Beauty says not much anymore. Balance camera is the only place you can actually do it, where you put the lens on and give it a go. That's true, Beauty. Yeah, you're right. In terms of actually going into a store and testing stuff out, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously, like the major ones like B&H and that sort of thing, you can. But yeah, it's a good point. Does Essentials Photo have a store? I think like even, I mean, I've done demos and stuff for Wex, but I think even they kind of, there wasn't a store like that. I think you could just maybe see a couple of basic bits, basic bitch. You could see a couple of bits, but you couldn't. I'm not sure you could test stuff out like you used to. It's a good point, actually. Yeah. Where can you go to kind of get hands on anymore? Yeah. James says he was up Sunday. I thought it was quieter than previous years. How much quieter was it, James? Come on, man. It was fucking dead, right? I mean, it was crazy. That's the weekend as well. And I don't know what it was like Monday, Tuesday, or did they only do Monday or whatever it was? But I think everybody there was kind of, banking on it being busier. Because you got to remember, like, for a medium-sized stand there, it's like $30,000 for whatever it is, like the weekend. So $30,000 to put a stand there, and at that point you haven't paid any staff to be on there, you haven't paid any staff to stay in London, you haven't paid any staff to travel to London, you haven't paid for the power to the stand, which I think is extortionate as well. So it's really goddamn expensive to kind of have a stand up at one of these shows. So it's certainly not a simple thing anymore. Oh yeah, absolutely, of course we'll be there. Like, it's a huge amount of money. Yeah. The Pro Photo was definitely there before, Steve. Yeah. Unless you're thinking of a different show, but Pro Photo was definitely at the previous show. It was pretty quiet, but when I was up there, it was there. Pro Photo used to have great stand and presentation. I agree, Steve. Yeah, they did. Yeah. They used to have a bunch of guys demoing stuff. And this is no disrespect to anybody, because I know younger people trying to get their foot in the market, right? Trying to make a name for themselves and that sort of thing. But they did go down a route of having some pretty basic stuff being presented, and they're a high-end brand, and it was kind of a. I'm curious if Godox is manufactured anymore, or they operate like an umbrella for a lot of other sub brands. I wonder, Vlad. Yeah, I wonder. I haven't heard anything about that, but they'd certainly have the infrastructure to be able to do that. Would they? I don't know. Would they try and undercut themselves, because they're already competitively priced, should we say? So I don't know whether they would do stuff for other brands. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Yeah. You think Blue Sky's amazing beauty? Okay, I'll have to make an effort. Yeah. You say 150 watt, like really how I'm looking at 40 watt lamp to have permanently mounted on my desk for video. Yeah, we're going to kind of talk about this in a minute, Vlad. Yeah, the 150 watt is. So you think that's a lot, do you? I mean, if you're in a dark room, it is. Like, it's plenty. Don't get me wrong, it is. I just think a lot of stills guys are just never working in a pure black box. Yeah. Flashpoint is Adorama, like Pixel Essentials. I thought it was Steve. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Ed, hey there, mate. Yeah. Many due to the client. Oh, okay. The client wants that. Fair enough. Yeah. Tommy, hey there, mate. I use Flashpoint. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, Beauty. It's absolutely nothing wrong with it, because it's it does what most people need, right? Those, it's the same with the Pixel Pro lights here. Absolutely nothing wrong with them at all. Yeah. I usually got to a Canon stand and have a real play with some lenses that I wanted to. Okay, yeah, no, yeah. I suppose that was the benefit of being quieter, James. Right? Is that you could actually play with the lenses. Yeah. I mean, that is true. Yeah, because the stands were dead. Yeah, you could absolutely walk up and just have a play whatever you wanted. Yeah. Hey Daniel, how you doing, mate? So dog ate my umbrella. Okay. As long as it was a shoot-through umbrella that it ate, Daniel, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Gru, hey there, mate. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at some of these bits then. Let's have a look at what we got here. So we're kind of talking about this Godox Knowled line that they've brought out. I don't even know how long it's been out, but kind of what we got here is. The Godox Knowled line is a series of high-end professional professional grade LED lighting equipment designed for film and broadcast, encompassing studio heads, LED panels, and mats known for their color accuracy, versatility, and ease of use. So that's kind of like the elevator pitch for it. And again, the point that I'm making here is I I find it interesting that Godox is targeting that end of the market, right? I guess, not only do they want lots of money, they just want all the money. So they are going after every sector. And look, they did a very good job of dominating the photography market in a short space of time. So we'll see if they have much more luck in cinema. I think it's a very different beast to deal with, and we'll see how Profoto manages it as well. Yeah. So what have we got? The product range studio has the M series, powerful continuous LED head units, fadeable daylight balance by color, 230 to 740. The F series is the panels, so pretty standard stuff. Modifiers, accessories, high color accuracy. I mean, it's pretty standard now. Yeah, right. I don't really think you can claim that anymore. Versatility, ease of use, reliability, basic stuff, right? Okay. So let's kind of have a look at some of their bits here. So just to be clear, this is not like a sponsored stream by Essential Photo or anything like that. I have worked with Essential Photo over the years. Really good guys. Yang, the owner there, is very good guy, knows a lot of what he's talking about, unlike a lot of other kind of owners of photography companies and brands and that sort of thing. So I got a lot of the time for the guy, and I was very fortunate that he shared a lot of his knowledge about some of the new bits that Knowled or Godox are bringing out. So there's tons of different bits, right? And they range from these absolutely monstrous cob heads here to like the panels and other kind of cinematic style lights in between. So we're going to talk about these MS60s in a bit, and these reflector plates here as well, because kind of unique to what most of us typically do. But I thought it was kind of interesting that Godox is pursuing that. So this is the kind of price point that we're talking about here for these Knowleds, right? And this is what, 2400 watt bicolor, and this thing is a monster, right? And it's over £7,000. So I mean, you're looking at closer to $10,000. So this is an absolute monster. Yeah. You want the link for the images? You certainly can, mate. Yeah, you certainly can. Yeah. There you go. Pop it in there. Good luck, though. Good luck. Caliber is pretty high this week. They want to sponsor a stream. I'll start streaming. That'll do anything for a biscuit, mate. Yeah. So just really monstrous heads. This is where they kind of, and this has been out a few years, I think, or at least 2 or 3 years, and they've got their own mount now. It's got the G mount, I think, which is a larger mount to encompass these larger cobs and that sort of thing as well. And these things are bright, right? In fact, they have a safety feature where you actually have to have the modifier attached before the cob will kind of engage, right? So you can't just you can't just have you can't have the modifier off and this just nuking you in the face. So yeah, these are serious lights. I mean, what is the weight of this? Just to have an idea. What do we think? This has got to be. Do they have the weight? Look at this. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So the body and the yoke is 22 kilos. So you need a serious piece of kit. Yeah. So that's £7,000. So it'll probably be closer to $10,000. Yeah. Decent. Yeah. A lot of the LEDs now, I think, because of the way that they function, most of them are like IP65, which is like spraying water on it. Like IP65 means basically anything that isn't submerged. So you can be pressure hosing it and it still be fine. Yeah, I didn't see the IP rating, but I'm sure it's very IP54. So like this will deal with pouring rain, but probably not pressurized water. Yeah. Okay. So let me just see if I can grab some of these video here. You can easily take it on location with the Pro Photo. I mean, because we watched the Pro Photo video the other week, and it's like only 12 kilos. It's like, Christ. I mean, it makes sense, right? That Pro Photo can kind of tout that when you've got these heads, because the Pro Photo is all inclusive, right? Godox has this massive control box outside of it as well. So I think it gave the weight for the control box as well. Controller is another 13 kilos. So now, granted, this is a lot more powerful than the Pro Photo 1600, but I think they do, here you go, 1200 watt head here, and that's got a control box as well on the outside. I mean, this is only $5,000 UK pounds. Let's have a look. How much does this thing weigh? So 10 kilos for the head and the yoke, and then another kind of 7 for the controller. So yeah, meaty indeed. Yeah. What about the Godox Beam Light Max 90 Reflector? Exactly, Anders. Yeah. So I was kind of looking at that, which is kind of an interesting. I managed to grab just pulled across some videos from my phone. So yeah, here you go. I think audio is on, so I apologize if it will be. I'll leave the audio on if it's kind of annoying. Then I'll stop it. But I'll just put my headphones in. So essentially, this is that head with and what like Anders said there. This is this kind of beam head, and what this is doing is kind of projecting the light or pushing the light out. And I think it might even be a 5-degree beam. I'll check in a minute. So you can really push this light a long way. And this is not like light spreading everywhere. Like if you just had a normal dish on it, or like no dish at all, light goes everywhere and you lose a lot of this power. But you could see from that shot there a minute ago, or I think you see it here as well, where he kind of changes the color. He's just dialing it in there, so it's not touchscreen. You've got to do it by hand. But this is full RGB. I think this is the 1200R, which is so like this. That is a long way, and that's pretty bright. Now you bear in mind, this is a very well lit arena, whatever you want to call it, expo hall, and this is a 1200, right? So this is this kind of, what is it, Max 60 or something it's called. And so this is really pushing light a long way. And I kind of want to get into some of the reasons for this later on when we talk about the reflectors and that sort of thing, and some of the MS60Rs, whatever it was as well, like the kind of faux dado lights that they've kind of come out with, as well as the reflectors. Because there's some things that people do on TV sets and TV and cinema sets that they're kind of trying to change how light looks, so it looks more natural than kind of we would do in a studio. And these kind of beams do that really well. So for example, you could have this on the floor, right? Because it's obviously, you're not putting this up outside of a second story building window. You would have this on the floor at ground level, on the street, and then you would fire this up into a reflector, like basically like a silver mirror type thing, and then that would be angled into the room, so that's how you get that very even light. So this is where these beam reflectors kind of become very useful, because you can target exactly where you want this light over a very long distance, right? And I think it's like 200 meters or something like that, which is does it show it there? I mean, that is a long, like, that is bright, a very long way away. Yeah, which is like, It's crazy. It's crazy. So what that dish is doing is pretty impressive. Yeah. Very, very specific, obviously, pretty niche, but interesting nonetheless. And whether that could be scaled down, I'm kind of curious. Let's have a look what else we got here. Let's got this one as well. A similar sort of thing. I think this is the 24. I think this is the 2400. This is bicolor. Similar sort of thing. It's not got the same kind of magnifying dish in there or bounce cone or anything like that, but similar sort of thing. So this is 24. I mean, that's very bright, very long way away in a very well lit hall. You know, you guys can see how quiet this expo is here. It's nuts. This is on the weekend, by the way, like in the afternoon. So these kind of dishes and what they're using them for seem kind of a little bit obtuse, right? What would I be able to do with that? But having the ability to throw light a very, very long way and then control it once it gets to that point is super useful in film, because a lot of film sets are quite big, right? You can't have the film, like the light on set is got to be well out of shot, right? Because for us in the the studio and that sort of thing, all our lights would kind of be relatively close and that sort of stuff. But with film, you're shooting a set with a whole room and 5 or 6 people in that room. The lights have got to be way out of shot. So these kind of beam reflectors are very, very useful to be able to do that. So what we got here? So this is the Max 60. So this is what I was just looking at there. I think they do a 90 as well, but this sits on the front as we saw, and this is like 1300 for this, right? And this is that specific kind of design that really pushes that light all the way out. It's got these cones in here. Do you see a side shot? Kind of, but you don't see the actual diffusion cone in there. So yeah, like not cheap, but when the light's costing $7,000 to begin with, this kind of becomes less of an issue, right? So this is the Max 90. So the Beamlight Max 90 cinema grade parallel beam, and again we'll kind of get into why this is more interesting in a minute, but this is this is $7,000, right? So this will go. I think this one goes even further. It's an absolute monster. Yeah. So they kind of use this example here of it's powerful enough to be able to do the work of 3 or 4 lights here and that sort of thing. So 280 meters. This is a very niche job, right? Very niche job. But again, it's kind of interesting that Godox is kind of pushing into this realm, The Batman, I know, right? Yeah, it's exactly what that is. Yeah, it's literally like that Batman light. Yeah. You don't even need a space heater. Yeah, I bet that gets pretty damn hot. Yeah, I bet that gets pretty damn, even as an LED. People say, oh no, it doesn't get hot, but that's because they're comparing it to the old tungsten hot lights, literally. So when people go, oh no, these lights don't get hot, like they're comparing it to the very hot tungsten lights. Yeah. It does look like something from NASA. Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks like it's been made pretty damn well, but then you'd expect it for that sort of money. Yeah, this thing from the promotional image they had when they released it a while ago. Yeah, it has been up for a while. Yeah. What's the equivalent cost for something like that? What do you mean the equivalent cost? You're talking about? $7,000 sterling is, I don't know. I'm just roughly guessing, but it's probably about $10,000 if you were to convert it directly. That being said, most things are cheaper in dollars anyway, so you're probably paying a similar price in dollars, to be fair. Yeah. Oh, from another brand. This is going to be the cheaper one. I don't have on hand. I don't have an equivalent to show you, Tommy. But it is a good question though. But this is going to be the cheaper end of it. If somebody's got an example, like I can look up or a link, and I'm more than happy to take a look. But who would do something like that? Arri, maybe Aperture would have one. Nanlite probably would as well. Yeah, but that is a good point. Like, what is the, like, where does this price sit? Yeah, yeah. So Beauty says, I'm a 4'11" woman. I'd imagine me trying to carry that. Yeah, it's just not practical, right? These are for sets. This is not just somebody, yeah, somebody just doing a on location shoot or anything like that. Yeah, these are major crews for that. Yeah. Okay, so this is more of the typical stuff that a lot of us are kind of used to, right? With the panels, you know. And I think I had a look at one of those. Again, I was kind of surprised at this because 600 watt, okay, we kind of got a rough idea of what that's doing. As a panel though, I was like, 600 watt panel, okay. I was actually kind of surprised as to how bright this was. So let me just have a look at this in another video here. This is the, we just saw this. This is the, I think, what, the 2400 without the cover on, without the modifier on. Again, they're showing the price there. We looked at $7,000. It was only $5,000 if you bought it on the day. But yeah. That's not it. What do we got? What are we looking for? We had, is it this one? I think it's this one. So that is lighting up that ceiling from the 600 watt head, and I think it's because of the case on the LEDs. I think I show a shot of it in a minute, but they're kind of like, they've all got these magnifying domes on them, which is kind of interesting. So it really pushes that light out, right? Really pushes it a long way forward. So yeah, so this is full RGB again. And I think I show it here. This is just in what, tungsten, so you know, like 2500 or something like that. Yeah, and I think it's. I think I show the front of it in a second. Yeah. I mean, it's right. That's like for 600 watts in that arena, it's very bright. So that's pushing that light a long way forward. So there you go. You got these kind of dome shapes here that are somehow really sending that light straight out. Because I was kind of surprised because here, like, if you stand here with any other kind of LED panel, you'd be blinded by it, right? But you can see how it's not. I mean, sure, I'm seeing some of the light because the camera has closed the aperture down, but I'm not seeing most of that light. Most of that light is going straight out and forward, thanks to these kind of domes. So again, it's just kind of interesting to see where they're going with the ideas on some of these lights, really pushing that light forward rather than trying to spread it. Yeah. But again, all this can be controlled by their app and that sort of thing. Yeah. I don't think. Oh, we got this one here. So this is just the wider version, and this kind of shows. Well, I think this is what, 2 foot, 3 foot wide, 2 foot wide, something like that, and that just shows all like the different matrices that you can adjust all of these separately. Yeah. So I don't know how many people use this. Like, what is the benefit of really having multiple, like being able to change the colors like this? I mean, is there a benefit? I've seen videos in the past, and you know, Vlad has sent me them as well, where people are kind of faking fire, like crackling fire and that sort of thing, and they'll have these sheets of gels, and they'll have orange and kind of yellows and you know, even blues in there as well, and they'll kind of be moving these multicolored gels across a light to create this kind of fire effect. Because you wouldn't think, well, why is there blue gel there? But when you see the result, it looks very legit. I could see a reason for that. The other reason I could see is maybe something like this, where let's say you were shooting this vertically, right? And you had your kind of headshot here, right? And I've seen people where they've had like kind of like the bottom third is kind of a warm color, like a beachy warmer color, and then the top kind of 2/3 are like a colder blue color, and that does actually kind of look good, right? You think it wouldn't, but it does actually look good. I think there's like Bluff Bounce or something like that, and they make reflectors that kind of have those duotone colors, so you can bounce back that kind of more natural light looking color, you know, so warmer colors at the bottom and then colder colors at the top, and you could do something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like it's a feature. How often you would use it, not sure. Yeah. Wonder how popular panels are nowadays. I think most people would invest in lights. They can use modifiers more easily. So this is that is a good point, Grabs. Yeah, it is. And look, I still swear by the fact that my Rotalight panel, which is like a 12-inch, like the EOS, is absolutely beautiful as a key light, right? And I stand by that vehemently. I stand by that. That gives a remarkable, just incredible looking light as a key light. But it's very, very good at that one job. And you're right, Grabs. You know, if you're like, I don't have a huge amount of money, what am I going to spend my budget on? Yeah, like an S-Fit, Cob light, whatever, is where you can put a softbox, you can put a hard light on it. Absolutely, right? That is, you know, as you're going to be able to do way more with your money and with your light if you have the ability to adjust that. And you've got to remember that lighting, you know, way back when was very kind of refined, and the lights were very, very good at specific jobs. And then we went through this kind of phase of ease of use and budgets and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of stills photographers, like softboxes, like a great example. I'm not going to spend ages going on this, but they are very average at best of what they do. Like it's not that's not replicating any real light that exists, you know. Whereas like an old Fresnel head gives you a gorgeous quality light that is kind of representative of, you know, daylight and that sort of thing. But you have that flexibility to put a reflector or a snoot or a softbox on your head. So I do agree with your point. I think if you've got limited budget and you just want to get 6 lights that kind of can do anything, makes total sense. And most of my career, that's exactly what I did. I had 6 strobes that I kind of used, and they were all S-Fit Bowens, and that's absolutely fine. It's only recently that when I started to play with the panels where you start to see that quality of light, you just like it's tough to go back. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Beauty talking about the long exposures with that. I could see that being cool, Beauty. Yeah, I could definitely see that being cool. You're right. Yeah. And I mean, you guys know that I did that article recently where I was using that kind of color loop that I kind of thought was a bit of a fad, right? A bit of a gimmick, and then I started to play around with it, and I was like, actually, this is really cool. Yeah, like these, right? So this long exposure, kind of using the same thing where you kind of program in the, you know, lights to change color, and then you can get these kind of very kind of unique looks with them using long exposure. So yeah, you're right. There is possibility. You could do the same thing. You kind of set this up on the background, firing at the background, and do a similar sort of thing to what I've done here with the nanlite hue loops. Yeah. So yeah, you could definitely do that. Yeah. Can I get the technical joints? Yeah, they are pretty special, mate. I see. Yeah, you know, speak to me at the end, and we'll see if we can sort out a deal. Yeah. Honestly, my ADHD favours it and bullets. What the hell? What's this? Shameless promotion and what can be done with RGB strip like that? Can do the colours. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at that. So this is probably a look at one of.
My RGB lights are most probably better than yours. Take a look at this clip and count how many.
You see that rage bait that Vlad used.
My RGB lights are most probably better than yours. Take a look at this clip and count how many lights I'm turning off. Let's count it again, but I'll add another angle, because the reality is I'm only using 2 lights. And here are the shots that I can get with them so we can understand.
Great example, Vlad. Yeah, really cool.
I'm taking advantage of the fact that my tubes have roughly around a meter, and I'm splitting them into segments that emit different color of light. The length matters because I can have the same tube act as a kicker light, a key light, and even a bit of fill on the other side of the face. Now to pull this off, I needed to have the lights really close to my face and pay a lot of
That's
attention
cool, man. That's
on
beautiful.
how each of the segments reflects light off my skin. But the fact that I can adjust the power of each segment individually from my phone made this manageable. And don't you think I picked random color? Magenta, orange and red are evenly spaced on the color wheel, and they help me create vibrant contrasts. And yes, I'm going to make a bigger video.
Let me just grab that. So that's that link there from Vlad. Check that out as well. Very, very cool, Vlad. Yeah, great example of using those kind of I forget what they call it. What are the sections called? Like it's not segments, but similar to that. Yeah, sectors or something. Yeah. So coming back to wherever it was here in the. So on the app, you can have those zones or sections that you can kind of delegate, and I could see the benefit of just white light as well, right? You can have a grad, like a gradient, so bright at the top and then gradient down. If you were to have them mounted vertically, but typically, you could mount that one vertically there, just on the right angle. That would be cool. Yeah. Trying to think how many in my software segments. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're right, because I have to see in a minute, because we look at them in the tubes that Yang showed me in a second. Yeah, we'll go into last after one of those tubes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So this is just the longer version of these and how they're working. That's only 2.5 grams for that one. Yeah. There we go there. So on the store, 3 grand. So it makes sense with video, right? So you can see that they are changing the light on her there. It's a pretty niche scenario. Like if you happen to be driving down a wormhole, like this light is perfect for you. But yeah, the changing lights again. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to put in the software, so why not have it, right? Why not have it? Yeah. Want to see that close up with the LEDs? Oh, what, in the video, Vlad? Yeah. Can you believe I missed that? There you go. Does that help? So what do they got? Does that mean anything to you, Vlad? The CWB and the WW? I suppose it. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. So they are a bunch of. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. 2 a penny, 1 mile, mate. Yeah, right. Next time I'm in one, I'm definitely going to use that light, 100%. Yeah. They are the RGB strips of AliExpress, but I built one to run. Yeah, so those lights that the Vlad was just showing you there, the ones that he's built. So he just got the base parts from AliExpress, and then he's kind of programmed them to do that. Yeah. WW is warm white. Thank you. You know, I could not. I knew what WW was. Could not think what WW was. Yeah. Colder. Okay. Yeah. You can see the. Yeah. So you got the green and the interesting. Yeah. Here you go. Yeah, there's those. Okay, what else we got there? Let's have a look. So this is kind of not strictly within the Knowled range, but it's kind of interesting to see Godox bringing out these power packs, right? And many of you won't even know what these are, because it's something that we used a long time ago, and I hated using them. We had them in several studios that I worked in over the years, and there's supposedly tons and tons of benefits for them and all that crap, but essentially these power packs, you plug in multiple lights into one pack, right? So here, like, we've got the P2400, so 2400 watts, and you have 2 lights plugged into it here, and then each of those lights can be 1200 or 1200, or you can kind of mix and match how much power you send to each light and that sort of stuff. So you could have, in theory, you could have one head being like 1000 watt and another head being 1400 watt. The issue was, so this is what I always ran into when I was in the studio, is I wanted to do certain lighting setup, and I set the light up, and it's like, and it go me. It would start, screaming at you because you're like, oh no, you've got the balance of power wrong. It's like, Jesus Christ, I just want to just light this, a couple of stops brighter than that. It's like, oh no, it's a mismatch in power outputs or balancing and that sort of stuff. So it's a real pain in the ass. So I just prefer the separate monoblocks that most of us use, right? So the separate individual units, and you're not worrying about this pack. Now, don't get me wrong, if you were assisting years ago or anything like that, you would need to know how to use all of these packs, and most of the major studios run on these packs, like it or not, right? I was just never a fan of them. But it's interesting to see Godox going down this road, because this is something that we don't typically use that often anymore. Again, there are these packs in the major studios, and again, like we're saying, Godox is just trying to go down every single road here to try and see what they can get their fingers into. This is a smaller one here, 1200 watt, right? So I don't think there's not really an exciting video about it, but we can have a look at it. So again, yeah, just kind of showing off the power pack here. I was just kind of really, they just got these kind of older heads here being plugged into them, but I just find it really odd that Godox are going down this route. Again, they just want to have every base covered, and I suppose if you were doing like this major sale, you can offer your client, like, if somebody's got like a major studio, a major e-com fashion house is gonna just go, yeah, look, here's 50 grand, we need to kit out this studio, which happens. I suppose Godox just needs to make sure that they have every option available, right? But again, I just thought it was odd to kind of see it, So that was the 2400, and then this is the smaller one, the 1200 head here, or pack, sorry. But again, yeah, they were always a pain. Yeah, I mean, the other benefit of the power packs, as we can kind of see here, was that these heads that you would have kind of separate, right? Like none of the power is in there. You basically just have this little bulb in this little head, because this is essentially a 1200 watt head, which would be massive typically. But now you can have this tiny little head, and you can have that with a big modifier on it, and all the juice is being pumped from the pack. So there was like some benefits in terms of weight and size wise of having these kind of very, very small heads that you could put anywhere without having to get this like 1200 watt monoblock up there. It was not cool. So there is some benefits in terms of size. So so the pack there, so 1100. I mean, like, these, is that one head? That's one head. 1200 watt with one head. Interesting. Yeah. So kind of just slightly off topic there, but in the same vein of interesting to see where Godox is going. They're pushing out of this kind of mainstream prosumer level, right? Which typically is where you would think all the money is, right? Or certainly people buying stuff. Yeah. Got a screenshot of it, thanks. A little look at the RGB they have there, no worries, man. Remember they're making a comeback with the 8200 Pro. They also announced a new battery grip for both LED strobes. It's called battery. Yeah, that's right, Grab. I did see that battery grip. I think, Vlad, you sent that video to me, right? And I think we were kind of questioning it, because I was like, well, it already has a battery in it. So this is just more battery, but in a battery grip. It just seems, products for the sake of products. If anybody's got a link to that, then send it over, and I'll have a look. But yeah, kind of weird. So coming on from the tubes, so Vlad was talking about the tubes that he was showcasing there, that he kind of made himself, and these are the Knowled tubes, right? So these are pricey. These are 400 quid, and these are the pixel tubes, right? So this is a 2-foot tube for 400 quid. Right, and here we can see the different segments here. Yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Right, this is the 2-foot, and I think they do 4-foot and 8-foot as well. Right, and you can, like the benefit of changing the segments here. So you can barely see it in the reflection here, but you see the segments running down the tube. So they just have a highlight running down the tube, and that's to kind of simulate him driving past, because he's not actually driving the car, he's just sat in the studio, but that's kind of simulating him driving past lights. So again, kind of an interesting use for these segments in these tubes. And look, you can get fancy with it as well. So these are all, I mean, can you imagine how much that set costs? But that would be one of the most expensive ways to shoot that shot I could possibly think of. Because they are trying to get the certain, let's just say you're in a studio and you're trying to film the cast looking up at fireworks, and you're going to comp them in green screen or whatever later on, and you need the lighting to be reacting on the skin. You would use these pixel sticks to kind of show this kind of fireworks explosion, right? There is like a trillion cheaper ways to do this thing, but it's just really kind of a showcase of what you can do with it. And get a power banks plus more money, I guess. I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Surely that's kind of what one of the only reasons for it. And some of these major budgets, just like so much of that money gets gobbled up and lost in the system on some of these huge sets with colossal budgets. That's who they're targeting with that. Yeah. So pixel tubes. Have a look at these pixel tubes here.
Last thing I got you. So these new LED tubes here. Yeah. So this was at the 4-foot, and then we got the 2-foot, and then the 8 feet here. And you said there's 36 sections.
It's 32.
32 sections.
32. 16.
Okay. Yeah.
32.
32 on the yeah.
64.
Okay. Yeah, and these are the 100.
So what I was kind of concerned at here was the 180-degree spread, right? So for a lot of my shoots, I tend to want the lights to be in shot tube-wise. So this only having 180-degree spread, it's useful for sure, but if you wanted them in shot, you're not going to be able to see very much, because you're only going to be able to see 180 degrees. The benefit of them being 180 degrees is that all the light goes out where you want it, but that's kind of why I'm kind of highlighting this here.
180-degree ones, and each of those sections can be controlled on the app. Yeah, 32 sections. Yeah.
So from here, he just goes on to kind of get the app going with the actual sections. But Vlad just showed us how he was doing it in his own kind of app piece of software there, and that's exactly the same thing. So Yang is just kind of taking me through the Godox app here, and in here you'll be able to control the so you've got the colors, the color length, which is you can designate the size of the segments and all those kind of features there, and you're obviously going to have a lot more adjustability on the app than on the light itself, right? So yeah, I don't think we cover anything else there. So again, you can kind of see it happening there. These were pretty bright. Yeah, I mean these were very bright compared to some of the cheaper ones that I've seen. But you're paying 400 quid. Does anybody know how much a 2-foot pavo tube is? Does anybody want to have a look at how much a 2-foot pavo tube is? So that'd be the equivalent from Nanlite. Like, where is Godox positioning these pixel tubes in the market? I'll be kind of interested to see. Yeah. So yeah, we just go into kind of more of the details there. Is it 300 quid, Scribe? So Godox is coming in more expensive than the pavo tubes. Is that right? Can't be. High pixel density, Vlad. It doesn't actually say. It just says high density. But kind of basic on the screen. But like the app is where you would do most of this, right? Yeah. But hey, some of these would be so expensive. Can you imagine buying, 16 of these? It'd just be just wild. Yeah. FPS, not pixels. Sorry, Vlad, I thought you meant. Yeah. Having built a CMRX cost a bit as they have to pay Lumina license fee. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, Steve. Interesting. Okay. And I've known of some of the weird kind of workarounds or payments that people have to make in the past. Like grids, like the egg crates that you get on softboxes. That was obviously a pattern that everybody had to pay for, and we would go apeshit back in the day. Like, you're charging me like 140 quid for a grid for a softbox. A softbox cost half that. Like, why is that? It's because of the the patents. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. So having built-in CMRX costs a bit as they have to pay Lumina license fee for that. And that's what I was told. The latest Pavard tubes was that the last show. That's interesting, Steve. Okay. Yeah. Good shout. Yeah. So Steve had a look. So we got 360 quid for the latest Pavard tube. So yeah, 300 quid plus VAT. So. And that's a 2-foot one, Steve. Did you have a look at that? That's a 2-foot one, which is what this is. Yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild that they're coming in. So Godox is coming in more expensive than. I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. Like, Nanlite and Pavard tubes is arguably the industry standard for tubes, right? I'm not using them myself, but like whenever we think of the light tubes, we like Pavard tube is practically the brand name that we all know and associate with these LED tubes, and Godox is coming in more expensive than them. Interesting. I would need to see. I'd be interested to know why that is. Like, has it got more features somehow? Like different segments, they can control more of the segments that Pavard tubes can. Like I said, I haven't used either. I've seen that we have a ton of control in the segments here. Maybe Pavard tubes don't have that. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know whether they do or not. Yeah. Real challenge with any of these tubes is how good the white light is. Yeah, true. And how they're doing it. If the white pixels, the RGB LED is usually low CRI. But, it's a fair comment. Yeah, and so my cheap ones that I use, so I never use them for white light. But yeah, Vlad is absolutely right. I have some cheap tubes here that I have. I'm sure you've seen, my images using them before. And I just use them for the pink or blues and that sort of thing, but horrendous white light. Now, if you were only shooting that one, if you're only shooting the tubes, you could kind of fix it in Lightroom with white balance and tint and that sort of thing. But yeah, that is right. Yeah, like the white light on some of these RGB tubes can be rough. Yeah. According to the flash tenter, the RRP is 400 quid. Okay, so for the 2-foot ones and Pavard tubes, so they are. So they're trying to be competitive. Yeah. And Ed says that the 4-foot Pano tubes only have 4 segments. Okay, so Godox is coming in similar price here, but they are going well. Ours are going to have. Because what did Yang say? I think 4-foot had like 32 segments. I think a 2-foot has 16 segments. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's only got 8. I don't know, but certainly a lot more than 4. Yeah. Oh, can't see anything there. Yeah. So these are 33 watts. Okay, I mean they seem pretty bright, but yeah. Again, you've got that light spread out over a very large area, and I'm only looking at the 2-foot. So number of pixels 16. So is that referring to the segments? Is that what they refer to as the segments? 16 pixels. I think that is what they refer to it on the app as well. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. So IP65 as well. So you can use these in pouring. So it's pretty high. It's actually like 95 is a standard, and anything above that, you know, you're kind of quids in. Very high color range. You know, we've kind of reviewed a bunch of LED, like high-priced LED lights here recently, and they've been like 3,500 to 6,500 or something like that. Like not unusable, but certainly not 2,000, 10,000. That's a very, very wide range. Yeah. Okay. I was pretty surprised at the weight of these things as well. So like the 4 foot was pretty heavy. Like you definitely notice it compared to the, I guess it just comes with the product. I think the guy said you could drop it on the floor and it would totally be fine and that sort of thing. So I guess they're built to last, which is great, you know. Okay. So just LEDs for just how closely packed they are. Okay. Photo 3 in this product. What do you just mean? Yeah. Okay. Well, I can see the gaps there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And 5 for context. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying, Vlad. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So here we got them packed, and here not so packed. Yeah, interesting. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where do we get to? Let's have a look. So we're looking at the tubes. Yeah, cool. Okay. So coming off from the tubes, then, like, there's been a lot of people that have been very, very excited about these, right? And I was kind of confused at first, and I think that, again, it's interesting that Godox is pushing into this, because these are the old dado lights, is what we know them as from cinema, which are the old hot lights, very, very hot lights, but very, very small units and very, very focused beam of light, right? And this is the LED equivalent that Godox have come out with, these MS60Rs. So what do we got here? Well, this is kind of this interchangeable system here, right? So you got your base unit here in the middle, right? You see we've got the little cob in there, then you've got your kind of reflector on the front there, and then you can apply any of the modifiers there, and then you've got your battery on the back, and then you've got your kind of connectors as well. So this is kind of interchangeable system, right? And this thing is this is a little bit bigger than a can of Coke, right? So it's pretty small, very, very small. But this is, this is not cheap. 1,400 quid. These are 60 watt little heads, very, very focused beam. And many of you are probably thinking, I just cannot see why, or the use case for this. And I get that, because that is a very niche look, especially when, like, what was the other Godox head that was this size? It was like a 100 or something. It was, I forget what it's called. They very closely copied the Profoto one, but that was the same sort of can of Coke size. What was that one called? AD100. Thank you, Tommy. Yeah, let's have a look at that. So this is exactly the same size in terms of the unit, and what I mean by that is you can use some of the modifiers that we'd use on this. You can use on this new, whatever it's called, MS60 or something. Yeah. So similar sort of size and proportions. This is the flash one, right? And this is this kind of newer one. So let's have a look at some of the videos I got here. Let me just catch up on some of these messages here. The idea is that you can't go much closer than they did there with 144 LEDs, but the best I've seen. Okay. So you got to keep them separate on that. Yeah, it's funny seeing these in the Knowled lineup. I would assume, judging from the price, to be regular Godox. Are you talking about these new soda can lights here? Is that what you mean? Yeah. It's interesting to see where they're going with it. Yeah. So the AD100s, yeah, you've got something really useful. I mean, yeah, if you're like on the move or something like that, or on location or a wedding or something, I mean, Christ, you could have 2, 3, 4 of these in your rucksack and not know anything about it, right? There you go. When I see a D100, I think, what I'm talking about, yeah, exactly, yeah. And that shot in the rain with the groom placed in between the camera, yeah, very convenient, 100%, yeah. For the size, the light miles, 60, I think, kind of cool and cheap. Okay, so you're talking about the AD100s there, Sleepy? Is that what you mean? Let's have a look at. It's only for the basic light. Love extras. Okay, yeah, as that is a fair comment. Let's have a look at. This here.
One button.
Yeah.
So I think he's just talking about the connectability. You can just tap the phone and connect each of these. That's got like this kind of spotlight on it there.
Kit of 4. You
Yeah.
got 4 lights, 8 batteries,
Yeah.
plus all the accessories there. So two cases.
Which is the Fresnel and the
Yeah,
and the
2 of each basically.
grids and the
Outdoors.
there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. there's a lot.
So he's talking about the kit there. You got 4 lights, 8 batteries, and that sort of thing. Okay, cool. And he's talking about like the Fresnels and all the grids and that sort of thing.
You got little softboxes.
You got softboxes in there as well. I don't know how useful they'd be on this tiny light, but
And how long do the batteries last on these? It's 60 watts, something like that. 2 hours, something like that.
Well, you got spare one.
And these are full RGB?
For RGB.
Yeah.
Everything app control.
Yeah.
And also the support and NFC. So
he just goes on to talk about syncing up with the phone and that sort of thing. So yeah, full RGB, little head like this. Interesting, right? Now, you know, the sky's the limit in terms of accessories and that sort of thing, because there's so much that you can do with them. You know, on the front with modifiers, but also on the back, right? With the batteries and connecting it to, you can use a USB bank, power bank. You could use just a normal light bulb socket, which I'll have a look at in a minute. Let's have a look.
that's all now.
Are these magnets?
Yeah.
So these here are the grids that you would stick on, and they go on the AD100s there as well. And these are going to be focusing the light in different ways. So like you can see that number there, 36 degree would translate to like your 36 degree grid and that sort of thing as well.
Okay, yeah.
And you know, we can see here now they do some interesting things here, and we kind of see it in a minute being demonstrated. But like these ones are square. So this projects a square light, not a spot of light with this grid, which is kind of interesting. And then we have different like slots of light as well with these grids. So it was kind of, I was like, okay. So I mean, they all stack with magnets and that sort of thing. So nothing particularly complex here. That one of the grids has fallen out. So yeah, the kit there for $2,000, or just over $1,000 for for 2, right? So the issue here is the 60 watt, and I think a lot of people are going to be put off by that, because as soon as you see or hear the phrase 60, you think it's just not going to be bright enough. But because of how focused these beams are, remember we've been talking about that, is pushing this light out, in this very purposeful manner, rather than just spreading it everywhere, which is what we're used to with strobes and cobs and that sort of thing. I mean, how many times have you heard me banging on about how important it is to have the flash tube exposed in the modifier so it spreads around the modifier and uses the whole modifier and that sort of thing. So that's completely like polar opposite to something like this. So we're using a strobe to spread the light around like a beauty dish or a softbox and that sort of thing. That's what you want. Whereas what these are doing is very, very focused beams and pushing it out, and then they're kind of looking at ways of modifying it at the other end. So they're modifying it somewhere else on set rather than at the point, right? And we'll get into this in a little bit more detail in a minute, but it's kind of interesting, different way of thinking about it. So here, this is kind of cool. So you just unplug that, plug that in, it locks in, and you can just screw that into a light fixture and it powers it. Because it's 60 watts, right? So, you know, it has a converter in there or whatever. So you can just run that off the mains as is. Kind of cool. So you can kind of see the square here now in a minute, I think.
You see a square?
Oh, okay, so it does make it, yeah, more of a square. Okay, yeah.
It's all through this lens.
Now this will make more sense in a minute when we come on to some of the other things that we can kind of use with this, right? I don't think we cover anything else, just kind of looking at some bits here, just looking at some prices. Oh, and he's just talking about this kind of Fresnel
That you had on there, like
or
that
spot.
Fresnel there.
So this, you can take this out, just use for now.
Okay.
This just like silicon,
So what is that just direct it? That's the Fresnel lens there.
give you more flow, same thing with that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. More control. Yeah.
More
Okay.
control.
So again, so many of these modifiers are about sending so much of this light way down range compared to what we would typically be used to in the studio. Like a lot of these modifiers, like those grids and that sort of thing, really channeling it. And even these Fresnels and that spot, again, really sending it way down range. And again, we'll get into why that's important in a second. Okay, so okay, let's see if we've got any of the other ones here. I think we spoke about the Connect, got the MS60. We spoke about, I think we already saw this kit, right? Yeah, we spoke about the kit. Yeah, I mean, obviously you got the, you know, typical projection unit and that sort of thing. So, it, you know, to even focus it even further, really kind of sharpen it up. And also you got the, you know, you got the cutters here as well, like to really mask that light as well. So there's tons of, I mean, huge flexibility. So this, you know, can screws in at the bottom there with light stand mount, tripod, whatever, you unscrew it and that sort of thing. So there's loads of flexibility with this, you know, modular, you know, yeah, that's the word I was looking for earlier. Yes, it's a very, very modular system. So I don't think, did we look at this one? Did I think I did, just showed you that one. Oh, okay, so here he's just showing me different ways that you can kind of modify this light and the shapes and that sort of thing. So we've got the squares here, and the grids, you can make it into a slot as well, like a slot of light, and you can, you know, spread it and focus it in and that sort of thing as well. And then, you know, they're using these mirrors and stuff here as well. So I think that is all of them. Yeah, these are the grids. Yeah, so I think that's all of them there. So let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at these a little bit closer here. The interchangeable batteries compared to some of the. There's a good point, Grubs. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there about the interchangeable batteries. So there is a bunch of LED heads out there that, yeah, like the battery is internal, so you charge it up and that sort of thing. You can't change them. Yeah, so I really like that aspect, that you do have the ability to change them out if need be, right? And Grab says there, the good thing about these is they're fully interchangeable batteries compared to some other LEDs that have built in. Yeah. I just had an alert there. I'm just checking that wasn't the stream alerting me of something. Just give me 2 seconds. I think we're good, but yeah, I'm still good. Okay, cool. And so yeah. So again, like some of the different things we can do here. And that's the kind of screen that we just looked at, and the square was kind of interesting. Yeah, this just kind of shows you the different aspects you can do here, the different modifiers you can apply to it. Yeah, it says rather quickly, it locks you into the system. It's true, Vlad. Yeah, it does. Yeah, and you can say that about anything, but yes, it is a good point. Yeah, it does. Yeah. the modifiers are so useful. There's a lot you can do with them. Yeah. Square was actually clever. Surprisingly, Aperture recently released 80-watt light Aperture Storm ADC. So is that the same thing, Gripes? Is that the same thing? Yeah. I think I found out what the alert was. So on my headphones there is a play. I apologize if I just deafened you all. I apologize. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's have a look. As someone who loves shooting with speed lights, I'd love to try exposure for these. Yeah, I was like, the more I kind of was thinking about these, the more I was kind of thinking about them, I was more and more intrigued. Yeah, looks ideal for going on location. To be honest, 60 watts, you need location and blackout blinds. Agreed, Vlad. Yeah, that's the downside of this. I would say 60 watts, because the data lights that cinema is used to is considerably brighter hot lights. Yeah, the Fresnel reminds me of one of those mag mods. I know. Yeah, the collapsible aspect seems good. I don't know how strong that is long term. Yeah, I think I heard that the Fresnel lens inside is plastic as well. Yeah. Oh, you play the playlist popped up. Yeah. Okay, so they do different ones, right? So these are considerably cheaper. So this is the RS60R. So this is the same thing. This is same 60 watts. R is full color and that sort of thing. Same 2 packs, right? So 2, right? Like considerably cheaper, yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. Like the difference. So I did manage to find somewhere that shows you the difference here, right? So you got the cheap ones here, which is the RS60 on the right. So same power, same deals here, bicolor, RGB, and that sort of stuff, right? Same CRIs and TLCIs and that sort of stuff. All the ecosystem's all exactly the same. So where it kind of falls down here is it doesn't have the gel mode. So those of you that don't know, you still have all the colors. You just can't go, oh, I use 116, boom, let me just grab that gel. And it's typically because they don't have color screens, right? So on the lights, I think Nanlite did the same thing with their kind of cheaper 120 full color head. They had the same thing. It's like, we don't have gel mode in there because I don't think they have a full color screen on the unit, right? So I think that's all it is, right? Is that it doesn't have a full color screen on there, so you don't have the full color there. Yeah. Similar sort of thing here, the XY mode, that sort of thing. So you still have DMX control, okay? You don't have this pretty advanced CRMX control, which most of us wouldn't need anyway. You've got Bluetooth and dimming and all that sort of stuff. So you don't have the smooth dimming, which would mean that this would probably step maybe in. So this kind of cheaper one maybe step in, I don't know, but maybe would step in 1% rather than 0.1% maybe, so it's not quite as smooth. So you only got the color space there again. So like you're really not missing out on anything at all for most of what we would do by going for those units, for these ones, which is kind of interesting, because that is a big difference in price, huge difference in price. Everything else is exactly the same. Yeah. I was like, okay. It honestly looks like they sell a cheaper version because they don't pay a bunch of licensed RGB LED controlling code. Yeah, you could be right, Vlad. Yeah, you could be right. And was it Steve saying about paying for the controls inside? Could be right. Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah. If that's the case, then it's kind of cool that they pass that on, because they could easily, for the cost of this, right? They could easily go, look, these other ones will do it for $1,000. You're saving yourself 400 quid. You're like, okay, but it's if that is the case, Vlad, could well be, then it is kind of cool that they're passing that on. So yeah. So I've mentioned these dado lights and that sort of thing, and where these things come from. So let's kind of have a look at different video here. Let's see. That's the playlist. It's almost like I'm not organized with this. Doesn't seem like me, I know, right? So this is a photographer, Elisaveta Porodina. I think we can all agree I nailed that. Phenomenal. Like, in my opinion, one of the greatest photographers of our time, and it's not even close, right? I think her work is absolutely outstanding. And I was kind of chatting to Chris Knight about this the other day. You know, she released a new set of images and that sort of thing, and she's just done stuff for Vogue and that sort of thing with Ariana Grande. And it's kind of interesting to see somebody at this level doing what is kind of typically very seen as left field, pretty quirky, pretty kind of ragged, and working at the highest level, like front covers of Vogue, working with, you know, Ariana Grande and that sort of stuff. And you know what Chris and I were saying earlier on, it is like, you know, anybody can kind of be quirky and wacky, but to kind of do it at this level is a whole other story. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, it's important to note that these images are the product of a team, right? So Elisaveta here is the, you know, the actual person taking the images, but Joseph Bayer here is the guy that kind of works and has worked with her for a very long time on set, and he shares a lot of kind of what's going on, and we can see here, right? So these are the old dado lights. So this is the old version of what we've just seen from Godox, right? So this is what we would typically see on film sets and that sort of thing. Very, very powerful spots of light, but these are the tungsten beams here, right? So again, like look at these, right? So a lot of these shoots that you're seeing, you know, the way that she's achieving her work is this very painterly style, especially with the movement and that sort of thing as well. And a lot of it is done with, you know, like 10 lights or something like that, just pools of light, and allowing the kind of subject to kind of, you know, move around these pools of light. And it's really all done with these very, very focused dado lights here, right? We can see him setting them up. You've got the gloves on. I tell you, these things get hot, right? I've burned myself on the barn doors of these things more times than I care to count. So he's sensible. He's got the gloves on there. But we can see, right? He's setting them all up. And there's a bunch of different sets where he's doing that here. Let's see, maybe he got some down here. I mean, because all of these have got shots within shots. I think we can see some again here. We can see some of the lights. He's got the little dado light there as well. Again, just these very focused pools of light, right? So, and this is, you know, this is how they're creating these sets and these images from Elisaveta here, where, you know, very painterly style, right? Absolutely, just phenomenal work. I mean, it's just gorgeous, absolutely incredible, you know. And all of this is done with these pools of light, just targeted all over with these very, very powerful beams, right? And as we can see, a lot of this is kind of long exposure work as well. A lot of movement here. Right, a lot going on in these images. So this is these spots is something that is being used, and you can make them work at the highest level and just create incredible work with them. But it's a very different way of working, right? So let's kind of look at a different version of that here. Let's take these dado lights and kind of transfer it to like a, you know, film set or TV set, and let's do similar sort of thing. And now here we have, so exactly the same lights as what we've just seen, right, from Joseph there, exactly the same lights, and again they're these very focused beams of light. Now he goes on and he's talking about these reflectors and that sort of thing. So this is where some of this now starts to come together, right? Because what they're doing is, this is the modifying that they're doing at the other end of where this light is going. Okay, and you think, well, why not just modify it at the the source and all that sort of thing as well? And this is why now you can see the benefit of that square gridded attachment that we had on those Godok's head, right? So these square grids. So now, like, these are specifically designed to be shining light directly onto these reflectors, right? And again, you're thinking, okay, yeah, I mean, it's cool and all, but really, what can we do here? We see we got some reflectors and stuff here, bouncing around and that sort of stuff. You can get them up high, and you're not worried about weight or anything like that. You can bounce them around. He's got one underneath here, and he's bouncing it straight up above from the floor below, and he's bouncing off this beam here and that sort of thing. So why is this kind of a big deal, and why are people on film sets trying to do this with those projected lights or bounce light with these reflectors and that sort of thing? So I'm just going to jump over to Photoshop here a second. Let's open up just any old frame here, and let me just grab a brush here a second. I'm just going to see if I can get the pen tool to work. Yeah, nice. Okay. So let's take our subject here, right? Let's take our subject, and let's take our sun here, right? So we got our sun, and if we know that sun is a long way away, right? It's a very long way away. So what happens when we take our light meter reading on, like, the subject's nose here? We take a light meter reading here, right? And let's just say we take a light meter reading of their ear, like back here, right? Now with the sun, we know that if we take that light meter reading, like, the nose is going to be the exact same exposure as the ear, right? And you're like, well, Jake, it can't be, because the ear is obviously further away than the sun, than the nose, so it's obviously going to be darker. But in reality, right, when we're talking about these huge scales of how far away the sun is compared to the subject, this is why the sun is such a difficult light to kind of recreate. It's because we need to kind of collimate the light so that we can kind of trick this inverse square law principle from happening, where the sun is so far away that the distance difference from the nose to the ear is identical, right? For sake of argument, it's identical. Okay, so let's take the inverse of that. Let's bring our strobe in here, right? Let's bring our strobe in. We got our beauty dish, boom. Okay, and let's fire this off, right? And now let's take a light meter reading of the nose, and now let's take a light meter reading of the ear. There's going to be a difference, right? There's going to be a distinct difference in exposure between the nose and the ear. And us in the studio, like, we use that all the time, right? I use it all the time with the beauty dish, whatever it is. I really have my characters really, coming out of the frame with that beautiful drop off of light. Now that is not what a lot of TV and cinema want, because they want natural looking light, where they want real looking light. Yeah. So this is the problem that they have when you bring in lights too close to the subject. Yeah. Doesn't really work, right? You have this difference of light, and the light immediately looks fake. Okay, so what do we do instead, right? I'm sure some of you kind of guessed this, but what do we do instead? Let's have our reflector here, and let's have our dado light down here, right? We've just spoken about that. Boom, let's fire it up here, and then it fires across here. Look at how much distance that light has had to travel before it reaches our subject. We've essentially doubled the distance that light has traveled. So essentially we are kind of tricking the inverse square law to kind of flatten out this light. We're compressing that light on our subject's face. And a lot of cinema will do this to kind of make the light look more natural. You can't just, you can't have this light here and go, yeah, I whacked a Fresnel on it, and a Fresnel gives you the same quality of light as the sun, so should be good. Because yeah, you've got the density of light, like the shape of light. You've got the shadow detail, the same as the sun. Okay, cool, but you haven't got the same drop off as the sun, right? The light is not dropping off at the same rate that the sunlight would. Okay, and this is where a lot of people kind of struggle with it, and this is why people can get themselves into trouble with kind of this, trying to recreate certain looks, and it just looks fake, right? So what they do is they extend this distance dramatically, right? And that's how you're able to kind of get this compression of exposure, so that the nose and the ear are now the same exposure, and now they look like the light looks far much more like sunlight. Now bounce it off a reflector that is shiny and gives you hard shadows, boom, now we're starting to play with something that looks very kind of organic and very real. Okay, let's have a look. Breaks rules and pulls it off. I know, yeah, she does. Yeah, she does definitely break the rule and pull it off. Yeah, stylized. As long as it's like such a smaller fall off. Well, it's on. They're like 28 watts. Yeah. So this is why you can kind of see the benefit of some of these lights. Now, again, I haven't tested these, faux data lights there from Godox. My knee-jerk reaction is, is the kind of exposure enough, right? Is the power of it enough to do what we want to do here, right? What we're doing here by extending this, yeah. I need to see. And look, we have a lot of daylight in here as well, so there are going to be limitations to it, but certainly kind of interesting that Godox is going down this route. And like Vlad has said, and that sort of thing, you can certainly do, or I would love to play with, a kit of this and that sort of thing. Yeah. But if God wants to give you some for review, more than welcome. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Look, I may speak to Yang up there at Essential Photo and see if he's got any that he'd be willing to kind of have out like a rental set or something like that. Yeah. So part and parcel with that is going to be these, right? These reflectors, which we've kind of already mentioned there a moment ago. So let's have a look at those a second. So what we got, let's see. So what's going on here is we have one light, and then we have a bunch of reflectors from it. So this is just the one light here, and then all these reflectors are doing kind of 3 lights worth of work, right? So like it's doing, I think it might be doing 4 lights worth of work, because it's probably hitting this on the way past, it's bouncing off that reflector behind it, filling in the shadows on that side, got a softer fill on this side, and then a stronger fill on this side, right, with these reflectors. Okay, so just as kind of an example of what they can do and what they're kind of designed for. So here is the kit here, and they're all colored and numbered and that sort of thing. So the one on the blue being very shiny, like almost mirror-like, right? I think that's the 4, which I'll explain in a second. The red, which is the 4. So that is actually made in such a way that you can create strips of light with these reflectors. So it's not just bouncing light everywhere. It's actually giving you this kind of controlled strip of light, and you can see how the reflection on the surface changes. Yeah, so you see how it's been polished, so that we get horizontal highlights here, vertical highlights there, right? So the way that they're polishing it or whatever is giving you the ability to kind of focus this bounce light into slots, which is kind of cool. So I think this is probably number 1 or something. Yeah, so very shiny, right? So you saw that. So you're going to give it a very crisp, almost sunlight look. Yeah, and then 3 being very, very, very soft and diffused, as you saw there, very, very matte. Yeah. So they're grading it with the different densities and softness of the actual reflectors, and then you're changing the size of them as well. So bigger and smaller, and then you've got the slots as well. So you see how soft that is on that fill side, very, very soft. Yeah. So there's another couple of benefits to this as well, or certainly ideas that you can kind of play with. One being is you need less lights. If you're on set and that sort of thing, sure, you got to play this kind of weird angles game with it, but you need less lights. This is doing 4 lights worth of work here. Cool. The other thing is that space, right? If you're shooting on location for video and that sort of thing, you're shooting in a bathroom or something like that, you don't have the space for 4 lights, but you can throw up these reflectors, mirrors, and that they can act as a light, and they can be very, like I showed you in that setup last week with a bounce light, right? And so you can have them above, no space, and have them above. You can have them like just out of shot, in the wall and that sort of thing, take up almost no room at all. So again, useful for that sort of thing. Yeah. I think that's kind of all I went over the reflectors there. Yep. Okay. So these aren't cheap though. So for that whole kit that you saw me playing with, which is like all of them, so that's all the sizes, all the different modifiers and that sort of thing, is about $2,000, right? So very expensive, but that's everything, right? So here you go. You see it up here. Yeah, there you go. Great. So it's literally exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah. But again, these reflectors can give you this kind of pool of light that is a little bit more organic looking than just blasting it, right? So yeah, it's useful. So you got some other different kind of options as well. I can imagine if so you could have like a larger, quite soft panel behind, right? But then you could have in front of it, you could have a smaller, like very, very hard, almost mirror finish behind, right? So you could shine one light onto it, and then the reflected light back would be both soft, like a fill light, and this crisp hard light, all from one light. So I'd be kind of interested to play with that. Now imagine coupling that with gels, right? So imagine if you had this soft light behind, imagine this had like a nice teal gel on it, and then this baby very shiny reflector here had like a pink gel on it as well, right? So now one light, it's just firing pure white light at it. You got that soft blue coming back, and then you'd have that stark kind of harder pink light coming back from that small reflector as well, from that small mirror as well. So I think there are certain things here that you can kind of use them for that are maybe slightly more unique, rather than just like, well, why would I need that? What is it going to do for me? I can do everything as well. I think there are certain things here that you can do that are kind of unique to it. I think playing with the densities and the sizes of them stacked like that could be cool. And I think playing with different gels over them, because it doesn't have to be a single gel either as well, right? Imagine if you had, you tape together. I've got a bunch of old gels here that I've taped together. You got strips of different colors. You could really start to play with color mixing from this reflected light. Yeah, I think there's scope to be creative with it for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You mean what at the show? You could kind of play with Vlad, or you mean the Godox videos here? Yeah. And obviously you got all the kit and that sort of stuff that you would need, and that comes in that case as well. So there you go. Yeah. So you get all these. So look, I think it's, I'm always looking for new ways to kind of play with light. So it's just not like, woo, I get to sell all my LEDs. Off we go. Just grab a couple of these little LED dado lights and some mirrors, and like we're good to go. Yeah. Yeah, something here we scroll a bit. Hard soft, there you go. Yeah. Does it show it there? It kind of, yeah. I suppose you need to see it just isolated to see it. Yeah. Traditional lighting. Yeah. But I also think this idea of compressing the light to give you more of a kind of natural looking light is kind of cool as well. Like I kind of explained to you there about the inverse square law and how light drops off and how you can extend these distances to get that more natural looking light. And this is that cinematic look that so many people try and achieve, and I think that these are the kind of nuances that gets lost in the YouTube detritus of you must buy this piece of kit, when a lot of it is down to technique, really, right? So yeah, pretty cool. So just kind of very broad, brief overview of Godot's Knowled there. And again, thank you to Yang for taking the time to show me all of that. I'm sure he was busy guy. So yeah, it's interesting to see where Godot is taking it, whether they'll manage to get a significant footprint in the market. I don't know. You got to remember that China and like the cinema market in China is growing dramatically. You think about how many movies that we see in the West that is actually being produced by Golden Harvest or something like that, right? So whether they're just trying to set all this up to kind of capitalize on this kind of gold rush, as China is obviously emerging rapidly now, and has done so for many years. So whether they're just trying to jump in on that, we'll see. But Profoto thinks that there is scope there, so it'll be interesting to see where they take it from here. So maybe I'll speak to Yang and see if I can borrow these for a bit. But interesting idea. I do like the idea that you can plug it into a light, just a regular light thing here, which is kind of cool, like that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Clever idea with these magnetic grids as well, with the squares is kind of cool. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Hey Johnny, how you doing, mate? I know, Steve. I know. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. I think it was anything else. If anybody's seen anything? Oh, there was a couple of bits that I think Steve sent me as well. Let's have a look at those. We got. I wanted to show you this. My guy at the creative director there at Sony PlayStation sent me this. This might not be relevant to all of you, but I did find it kind of interesting that Sony are making this photography game experience, whatever it is, and you like they're building these kind of real world sets that you can explore and then photograph, right? Walk through, set up the shot. Right now, I mean, look, I know the argument. Well, just go outside and take some real pictures. I get it, but for hanging out and just chilling, I could see the mileage here, especially in places that you might not be able to go to, right? And I think that you could play around with the light, and I think you could kind of work out what would look good in terms of the light's low and that sort of thing. I think you could learn what looked good and what doesn't from like a proper built piece of software like this. So look, Northern England, you see that? As I when this came up, I absolutely wet myself. I was absolutely hilarious. Got these beautiful locations as well, man. Yeah, Southern Italy, Nepal. Yeah, love it. Oh wow, beautiful. Can't wait to get this. Oh, it's snow. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Northern England. Absolutely savage, man. Absolutely savage. Yeah, I mean, true. Let's be honest. That's true. So. Lush Foil Photography Sim, April 15th. So look, if I find out any more, I will certainly let you know. I messaged him for more info. I think he said that the gel lighting pack will be a DLC or something like that. But interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, man. This is from Annapurna Interactive, so like they're no slouch, man. They've made some good stuff, like well-known studio. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on that. I mean, I'd be amazed if I don't pick that up. I can definitely see it being, having some mileage. Kind of cool. Especially with the PlayStation 5 now and the graphics being what they are, you can you can really start to play with it. I would imagine you could control so much of this, yeah. Play no way. You definitely stream it on Twitch and let us know. We'll come and check it out. Yeah. Wait till Death Stranding 2 comes out. The photo mode in the first game was amazing. Right, I know, yeah. Did you... There was actually a fairly famous landscape photographer that they actually got to use it, and he took some phenomenal shots in that, in the original Death Stranding. So I'm totally there with you, Jamie. I think I've seen the graphics for the second one. It looks nuts. Yeah. Sold, yeah. I mean, Beauty, if you ever want to shoot some beautiful images in northern England, like, this is the sim for you, man. It's just like we've nailed the rain. UK being grey with a tint of cyan. We actually had some sun today, man. It's nuts. Yeah, I'm not reacting to the North. Look, it's not me, Jamie. This is in the game. Like, I'm just saying what it is. I'm just saying. Yeah. Steve, how you doing, mate? I learned the Mexico thing when I posted the Orange Sunset. Yeah. So yeah, when the gel lighting DLC comes out, I'm there. I don't think there's anything else. There's just a couple of bits. We don't have to go into that. It was just one thing that recently got shown to me, which I'll just show you, which I thought was nuts. Vlad, have you seen this? I didn't even know what's going on here. I literally just saw it like an hour before I went live, and I was just like, what on earth? Yeah. So he's painting with it, and then he's changing the lights based on where he's pointing. He's getting different colors. Right. I didn't even know what weird black magic this is, but this looks like something Vlad would do, 100%. It's brilliant. Yeah. I'll grab a link, so I know Vlad will be able to explain that. Yeah. Photography sim competition with 1 week. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. That would be good. Yeah, that would be good. Photography sim. Yeah. I'm just going straight to Northern England. I know I can see the shot already. Just the grey, just not quite, like 99% desaturated. Just getting that vibe. It's not VR now. I suppose he might be a bit, but we're not looking at that. I don't think. Yeah. It's going to be an AR thing for sure. Yeah, but kind of interesting that you could long exposure. Like, I wonder if you could definitely do some cool stuff with long exposure with that, right? If you could control it to that degree and paint in real time, could be cool. Yeah. Lastly, Steve sent me this, so thank you so much for handing it over. This was literally just announced today, right, Steve? I think. So I know nothing about this at all, other than the fact that, because I just saw this before I went live, light mons from Godox. This is a 600 watt head, so there's a bunch of them. Who knows, right? Like, I mean, don't they already do cob heads? So I don't know what the benefit of this one is at all yet, right? Why does this one? I mean, it's brighter, I suppose. Like, is it just a new line, just a new modernized line with fancy color screen and dials and that sort of stuff? Don't get me wrong. This looks like the proper deal compared to some of the older ones. Yeah. Daniel, how could you say that, Daniel? He's just totally unfounded. Let's see, description down here. Let's have a look. Unleashed creativity, powerful 600-watt cob lights providing exceptional brightness. The LA600R offers a wide CCT range and vibrant full color output. I mean, pretty standard so far, making it ideal for your lighting needs with Bowman's mount. So S-Fit, you can easily use various modifiers to help you set up. Enjoy effortless connectivity with NFC tap to pair technology. So maybe that's the same thing as what Yang showed me at the show, where you can just kind of like with your app, you kind of tap it on the light, off you go. Could be. Effects, all that sort of thing. So we've got the prices there. So this is in dollars. So the head on its own is $900. And then for the kit, I don't know what you get for the kit. Not much for an extra $20. So bicolor is $600. So it'll be interesting to see what that shakes out at. But yeah. Okay, thanks guys. So it's a Lightmon is the kind of cheaper version of Knowled, that as Gripe said there. So Godox, Knowled, Lightmons. Okay, but surely Knowled is at the top though, Gripes, right? And then Godox is in the middle, or what? But so Lightmons is a totally new line that they brought out, is it? Okay. I'll have a look. Okay. I mean, look, it looks fancy. I think it's decently priced. What was the Nanlite one that I reviewed the other day? What was that? I mean, that was kind of 600 quid, I think, for 500. So yeah, the Godox is not the cheapo brand anymore. They're coming in with some pricier pieces, right? And again, maybe that's why this, they kind of got this rebrand aspect here. But oh, is that him tapping the? Okay, interesting. Yeah. So just some features in there. Wait, so they made a baby one for it? Because the original beam is the G mount, right? Here you go, look. No way. Beam light B60 for cinematic parallel beam lighting. There you go. So you got the projection, of course. Yeah, you got the Fresnel. So everything's pretty standard because it's all S-Fit, right? So we're all aware of that. Not to be a dick, but that's not what parabolic means. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I mean, Christ, what were we just saying at the start of this live stream? Like, Godox are bringing out a new light every week. I mean, it's probably more frequent than that. If we talked about, because they definitely bring out more than 52 products a year. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, man. Yeah. I just thought Godox is an umbrella corporation, sub-brands. I don't know. I think I don't know whether they would bother with that. I don't know. It seems too risky. Yeah. Gavin was using Lightmons at TPS. Okay, Steve. Okay, yeah. I said apparently once 4 of them. Bad signal photographers. I would say Lightmons is targeted at smaller productions. Okay. I got us his videographers. Okay. Yeah. It shows how much I know. I hadn't even heard of Lightmons until Steve showed it to me. Yeah. So it shows how much I know. Yeah. Okay. If anybody wants any of the links that we've kind of gone over there, let me know and I will grab them. But let's have a look. Look what we got here. We need to crack on. You guys have been nattering. Hot leak from Fuji GFX 100 RF, 102 megapixel medium format sensor with a fixed 35mm lens equivalent to 28mm. It will be available April 2025 for €5,500. what was the? Thanks for that, Gripes. What was the old 102 megapixel then? What was the old one then? Oh, it wasn't fixed lens. Ah, of course it wasn't. Of course it wasn't. Yeah, well done. Yeah. Interesting choice. Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, sorry, I totally just glossed over that. Yeah. F4? Okay. I mean, like, I know it's medium format, so it's gonna have a shallower depth of field look, but still f4 fixed lens. Okay, rumors. So yeah, I am getting very close to pulling the trigger on a GFX. It's almost becoming impossible to avoid it. Yeah, I think the SD card slot on my D850 has given up the ghost. It's not grabbing the cards anymore. So it's got another slot in it. I forget what that slot's called. What's the other slot in those cameras? The XQD slot or something like that. So I might have to just buy a bunch of those cards and just get rid of the give in on the SD slot, because to get the SD slot replaced would cost you as much as a brand new camera. Yeah. Hey Ed, no worries, mate. Yeah, see you again. Yeah. You gotta get pretty good with it first, yeah. I think Chris Knight was shooting GFX. He is shooting GFX. Gripes, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I think he has been for a while. I mean, he absolutely swears by it. Yeah, and rightly so. Yeah, I've used it a few times, and I mean, it's a beautiful piece of kit. Yeah. You're going to AFD. You're going to do Reflector making third party. Okay. All right. Let's get cracking with these then. Let's have a look. So if you just tuned in, what we're doing is we're going through community images. None of these were taken in the PlayStation Sim, I hope. But yeah, so I get you guys to share some images, and then we kind of have a look, go through them, and if there's anything that we feel needs, feedback or anything, an alternative, and then we can kind of have a look at that as well. But I mean, we got some, just incredible work. Again, I think this could well be the best week ever in terms of quality, which is wild. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Okay. Who's most relevant? Oh, Vlad's most relevant. You made it. Let's have a look. So, start from Vlad here. Haven't taken any photos for around 7 days. It feels weird, but in the meantime, I learned some new ways to mess around with Lightroom presets and working hard to update the preset packs to include newfound knowledge. Nice. And also figuring out my new editing workflow, where the main rule is don't raise the shadows. And I'm super happy with the new look images have. Okay. Yeah. The important aspect that jumped at me with the entire change is that I'm able to get away with more color density to my images. This is something I always struggled with in the past. A similar story goes for how bright highlights feel. This is an old shot but re-edited. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So I think what Vlad's been, I forget what you've been doing, but you haven't been touching the black point. Is that right? Or the shadows at all? Are you just using the? Yeah. Forgive me. But you've been changing the way that you deal with the shadows in your images. Yeah. So is this actual film, Vlad, like medium format, or are you just kind of making these borders and then the digital grain afterwards? Well, this is great. I love the light on the face here. I think it's really strong with regards to how it falls off without it being too dark or anything like that. The shoulder is a little bit hot, right? I think if I wanted to be really pedantic and pick it apart, I would say that we could kind of get away with just bringing this down so that this becomes the prominent feature, right? As soon as we look at it, so we could just knock this back a bit, but yeah. Otherwise, I love this background. Nice background. Yeah. I saw last night. The images are crazily good. Yeah, they're good, Tony. Yeah, they are very good. Yeah, I mean they're good every week, but this one might be it. Some monogram presets. So the previous end. Thank you, well done. Realizing after posting the photo that you won't see my black border emulates the edge of the 6x7 as it will melt into Facebook. I did see it, but yeah. So here is the Lightroom screenshot. A bit shameless self-promotion for the day. Today's short video. So make sure we go check out that. So the old one, straight at the camera. The new. Oh, so that background is proper 1980s school photo background. Okay. You done well with the grade then. Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah, good stuff. So check that out. Oh my god, what? Got a bit of a dress pop in there. I do that every time. I forget every time that it hates that. I was definitely making that more complicated than it needed to be. I apologise. It's all in Lightroom. Yeah. Previous in the comments. Yeah, shoot monochrome. We can figure out stuff out here, mate. Nice. Ban that man. It's unacceptable. Actually, talking about fire. This is a shot I did last year. It's from Sterling. Long time sharer on here. The shot last year was fire. I did add some to fill in the gaps, but the print calendar project I did last year was being allowed to share. Okay, so you weren't able to share it till now. Makes sense, yeah. I was working with some pro video guys, and they had these handmade fire bars. I've seen those, Sterling. Yeah. They had holes cut in the pipes. That's right. Also an old, super powerful old tungsten light in the far back, posing as door of a barn, ambient light in the sun, hitting the ground on the front. Ladies in the 40s, fair play. Wow, okay. Yeah, Sterling, I've seen those bars with flame. I don't know the physics of it. I'm sure we could find out online, but yeah, I've never used them myself, but very cool. Yeah, very cool. I love the grade that you've gone for here, and this is really cool. Yeah, I love this pop back here. You said it was super powerful old tungsten light. Oh, it's tungsten. Yeah, nice. So really keeping with that incandescent theme here of burning real stuff. Yeah, nice. Beams over the barn. This is the ambient from the sun hitting the ground in front of us, illuminating her. Okay. This is a great shot, man. Yeah, really good shot. Really nicely finished as well. Love the grade. You know, you've kept the purples pretty tight, and you kept the yellows pretty tight as well. Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah. I know, right, Grabs? You see that? Yeah, it's just Adobe getting their free ad on my live stream there, bastards. Yeah, I did just get yeah, I did, Vlad. I did. Yeah, I don't know how I managed to get it. Are you monetized on there? Because somebody's making money. Yeah, the irony. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, Tony. Thanks for sharing that. Really cool. I've really done very little work with fire. Done a bunch with water and stuff, but fire is not one of them. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, God. I mean, when you got a full set and people and that sort of stuff, not a fan. Yeah. A little close and personal after weeks out of the studio. 2 gels either side, mounted on 3 rush toes for image below. Oh, okay, so we got a. Okay, nice. Have a close-up perspective. Okay, this is kind of okay. Damn. So yeah, very bold with the colors as well. And yeah, I agree with Tony. I think the close up is cool, especially with the colors. I think with gels, this is kind of a good example of what happens when we kind of lay gels over the same area, where they kind of transition is where we get this different color here. So look, I don't think it looks bad here. I'm just kind of highlighting it, that if we wanted to avoid this kind of third color in a situation like this, and I think we kind of get away with these two colors here, the teal and the pink, we can kind of get away with this royal blue here in the middle. I think it's fine. But if we were to do this with other colors, we may get certain colors in the middle here that we wouldn't like. So just try and keep these two colors separate if that was something that you would just like, yeah. Like if we had red on this side and green on that side, we would start to see yellow here, which would be weird. So it's just something to be mindful of. Yeah, something to be mindful of. That's the thing, Vlad. Yeah. So I think YouTube just monetizes everybody, whether you're eligible for it or not. It's kind of sucky, right? Yeah. Because I don't think I'm monetized actually, because I've got like 9,000 subs or something, 8,000 subs, but I don't have the monthly watch time, right? Because I only stream twice a month. I think you need like a certain amount of hours watched each month. So yeah, I'm not. I don't get any money from them either. Yeah. I tried starting a fire on the Debian stand in Excel. That'll learn them. Starting a fire. I'm not. God, I'm going to pretend I didn't read that, Daniel. Yeah. Also about my shoulder, that's my tan from last year. You got your. You trying to tell me this is your that is your Transylvanian tan, mate. I like it. That's actually similar to the Northern English tan. Very similar. Got one from Steve here. Did Vital's Casey use something similar to Raging Bull to make the fight look hot and sweaty? What do you mean, Steve? Fire from below there? I did not know that, Steve. Interesting. Surely not. That's wild. Did he? No. Did he actually have a fire on to keep them? That would be cool though, because this is why LA models have that beautiful greasy look that I love for like color gels and stuff. Is because they're always generally sweating. Like if you photograph them here in the UK in the middle of winter, it's almost impossible. Like you can put baby oil on them, it just disappears instantly. It just soaks into the skin. So I mean, it could be true. Yeah. Would have loved to catch light in Tommy's second photo. Yep. We try and keep the feedback to one rip in a week, but what Vlad's talking about here is just see a little bit more light in the eye, which is kind of difficult when you're placing the light so far around to have this split light. The way around it is to have what we call like an eye light or a pin light here, which you would bring a light like the Neo 3, for example, something like that. I've used the Neo 3 in the past, and it's not projecting any light onto the subject, but you will see enough light to get a catch light in the eye. So you can kind of just use a I forget what they call it, like an eye light is what we would typically call it. It's not illuminating the subject, but you will see a catch light. Yeah. Steve says, had to do a lot of cleanup on the background, shooting so wide and low. Yeah, I know. He showed up the limitations of my studio. Facebook destroys the image, upload the comments for some reason. Oh yeah, the background there. Yeah, it has destroyed it. Yeah. That's rough, man. That's rough. I know of a guy that can add some digital grain to that, mate. You can help to maintain the integrity of the Facebook compression. But that aside, this is very cool. Again, beautiful colors in here. Nice grades with the purples and yellows. I think it works well. Yeah. Those of you who don't know, color wheel, right? Color wheel, right? So works really well when we're using these complementary colors, which is what Steve's gone for here, right? We're using these complementaries of the purple and the yellows. Strong image, indeed. Yeah. And just kind of always, like, when we have cross light like this, we need to be careful of some of the weird coloring that can happen on the skin, especially with the purples. Like with the fingers, like the extremities can get a little bit exaggerated in the color. Maybe something you could grab a color layer and just grab a hue from here and just paint it onto the hands, just to take out some of that kind of cold hand looking. I mean, unless you're shooting in the north, then totally understandable, right? But very, very cool image, yeah. And again, love the colors, yeah. That's fake news, Sally. Facebook kills grain as well because it's something called progressive compression on JPEG. It's not fake news because it does work. It does work. It's not gonna be perfect, but it does do better than if you don't have it. Yeah. Meta hates grain. Going from here from Anders. From a maternity shoot I did last weekend, silver beauty dish, a key light, and 2 silver umbrellas from side and behind. Okay, so maternity shoot I did last weekend. Silver beauty dish is a key. What color was on that beauty dish, Anders? And 2 silver umbrellas. So I can see we got so the blue is on the beauty dish, and then we just have the orange from either side. Okay, sorry, my bad. For some reason in my brain I was thinking the beauty dish was white. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's looking clean. Yeah. We can kind of see how when we spoke about these two colors kind of overlapping, right? This is where we get this neutralization of color, right? Our brain, look at that. Our brain kind of tricks us, but so we've got the nice orange here, right? We've got this nice strong orange here, and we got the nice blue here. We kind of don't notice it, but here in the middle, we have this kind of gray color, yeah, where the orange and blue complementary colors will kind of neutralize one another. Our brain kind of helps to kind of trick us into thinking that transition isn't there, but we can kind of clean that up by keeping those lights separate. And you can kind of do that with, my hierarchy of light principle of kind of bringing in the beauty dish a little bit closer, allowing for that light drop off so that you have shadows, so that you can fill in the shadows with the orange. But just something to play with. I do love that beauty dish with the lighting on her face is really nice. Yeah. I'm always torn. It's been many years since I've done maternity shoots, but I'm always torn on having the bump pointing straight to camera. I don't know. It's always tricky. I think maybe having her at 45 degrees to camera, like pointing the bump over here, because you could do exactly the same shot with the shoulders and head being exactly where they are, and just get her to point the bumper slightly over to that side, just to get a bit more shape in there. Don't know. Personal preference, but great image nonetheless. This is cool, Jamie. Really cool. Look at these tubes, man. Awesome work. So, shot here from Jamie. 4 of those Pixel Pro LED tubes and ARs bouncing off the white ceiling. So, Jamie's using the same kind of cheap LED tubes that I was using. They're like 50 quid for, I don't know, what are they? How tall are they? 4 feet long, something like that, Jamie. So, not very powerful, but they throw light everywhere. And what Jamie's using them for here is not really to illuminate the subject, but he's using them as these kind of eye lights that I spoke about a minute ago, by bringing in like catch lights. So Jamie's kind of using them here as catch lights, right? So he's just getting them to have this kind of shape on the dress by reflecting the light off it, which is really cool. Yeah. It's actually Google as they're developing a new JPEG compression algorithm that everyone is using. What is your point here, Vlad? Sorry, that we need to use more grain? Don't use grain? Is that what you're saying? Because if you're saying that grain doesn't do anything to the compression, I'm not sure what Google is saying, but like the images definitely look better on Facebook when you upload them with and without, regardless of what Google is saying. I'm not saying what. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying here. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Anders. Yeah, great shot. Yeah, really good shot. Yeah. Love this. You can hear the squeaking. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. Yeah. Yeah. But this is great, Jamie. Really, really cool. And then he's got the LED light into the ceiling to kind of give you that kind of that blue wash down the body. Yeah. But really, really nicely done. Again, nice separation between the subject and background. We've kind of spoken about this tons in the past, but we really never want a point where the kind of model kind of drifts into the background and we kind of lose her. So Jamie, always does a very good job of just making sure that there is enough separation back there, without it being, like, oh, there's a big light behind there, that sort of thing. So again, really nice, especially when on items like this where that's going to be pure black in camera. So it's really nice to kind of have that separation there. Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, excellent work. Yeah. So you use all the grain if you are buying with presets. The grain is generally there. I appreciate it when posted online. Did you? Yeah, but by all means, send me the deets to that, Vlad. Yeah. But I am calling bullshit on the fact that you're saying that I can't see a difference. If that's what you're implying. Yeah. What's this little cat ears and stuff on there? Shot here from Tony. So we're outdoor shot. So yeah. So Tony, what, you in autumn now? You getting to the autumn? Am I right? Tony's in Australia, yeah. An outdoor shoot for you. Color graded this a few times. Natural looks and went to the almost monochrome look. Yeah, it's almost like a color wash, right? Where kind of both the highlights and the shadows have kind of like the same tone. I think it can work. Yeah, definitely it can work. This definitely feels more deserty, right? Where the greens have kind of been stripped back, so there's only yellows and the greens and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yes, but still 30 degrees. Nice. Wow, man, 30 degrees. Wow. I think we had 5. We had 5 here the other day. So spring can't come fast enough. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Just watch out for these kind of distracting elements here. Just kind of buzz that out. Yeah. Daniel, nice. My first ever proper studio shoot. Be gentle with me. No, you're good, man. You're good. Yeah. So, how long have you been shooting then, Daniel? You've been shooting a while, like, and then this is like the first time you've been in the studio, or this is all kind of like first time in the studio and just using a camera in general, that sort of stuff. Because it's really cool. Look, I think there's a lot to comment on this. What are you kind of using as the light here? Because one thing for start, we got the highlight on the eye here. We've got the highlight on the top of the cheek here, which is nice. The one thing I'm kind of thinking about where the light is coming from is that we have the same amount of light under the nose here and the same amount of light under the eyebrow here as on top. So I'm kind of curious as to what you're using. Are you using like a big panel or a strip box, or what are you using? Yeah. ChatGPT says Scorsese used a flame bar beneath a camera raging bull to create heat distortion effect. That's nuts, man. Yeah. That's crazy. Wow, I'm gonna have to watch that again now that I know that. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Jamie, man. Yeah. Take care, mate. Wrap up warm though, yeah. Yeah. So just in terms of the modifier here, like everything's looking good. I would just kind of watch this kind of underlight here as well. Maybe just have more of it coming down on the subject, so it's not kind of uplit. Oh yeah, and make sure you do what Jamie says. Yeah, do what Jamie tells you. So sometimes this can happen with a strip box. Yeah, where you have light coming, from everywhere, and then you can end up with this light underneath, which is fine. I just want you to be aware of it. Sometimes it can be nice to have the light up a little bit higher. Yeah, so maybe coming down an angle slightly using a strip box, and then we can have a little more shape on the face, and just, you know, kind of give us a bit more sculpting here without it kind of coming from below as much. Yeah. If you want to take away JPEG conversion, watch this after the stream. All right, mate. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. I don't remember. Right. Okay. So the first rule of studio photography, Daniel, right, is you always take BTS. I cannot stress that enough. Not for anybody else, not for fucking Instagram or your reels or any of that shit. It's for you and learning, because I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sure that other people in chat here will say the same thing, is that they've done a shoot and go, oh, that's gone really cool, I love that color, or I love that shape and that sort of stuff, and you're like, oh god, what was that modifier I used there, or how high was that light, and that sort of stuff. Gotta shoot BTS so that you never ever have this question again of I'm not sure what was used there, because otherwise it can be a real pain in the ass in the future to try and learn from either either something that went really well, or especially learn something that didn't go well. Yeah. So just there are some people that shoot with, I think Ed shoots with like a very wide angle, like CCTV type thing, so he knows exactly what everything's been done and where everything is. But you must get into the habit of shooting BTS at the end of the shot for you. This is, like I said, this is not for Instagram or anything like that. It's for you. I cannot tell you how much this will benefit you, especially not just in 6 weeks' time, but in 6 years' time, where somebody asks for a shot they saw on your website. You're like, I have no idea what I used. So yeah, can be super useful. Yeah. So just thanks for that. Yeah, but behind the scenes is what it means. So you get your shots, and then at the end you just kind of either you put on like a wide angle lens, or you step way back and just take a shot of the whole scene. Like, because we saw Vlad with his videos earlier on, right? So Vlad will shoot video and that sort of thing, and it shows you everything that's going on. It doesn't have to be on your camera if you really don't. I like it on the camera because it's with the images. So if you're trying to find it later on, some people shoot it on their phone, which is fine, but sometimes the two can get lost, right? So I try and shoot it on the camera so that the BTS is always with the final shots. Yeah. Exactly. Or just start a YouTube channel. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to shoot it anyway, why not? So we got one from Nigel here, one from Medusa Theme shoot yesterday. Wow, Nigel, this is crazy, man. Yeah, this is wild. So again, like looking at the color here, really cool, right? We've got the earthy tones, natural tones. We've got the greens, we've got the browns, and we've got the coppery tones in there as well. Red hair, even the golds with the yellows. We've got a great spectrum here. Really cool. This is great, Nigel. Yeah, really nice. How much work have you done on this? Because I know you only shot it like hours ago or whatever it was. Have you spent a lot of time retouching these yet? Or have you finalized the grade on these? I think this is fine, by the way. This is great, but I'm just kind of curious as to how much you pushed into it. Background as well is kind of subtle, because this is difficult to do something with the background when the headpiece or back piece or whatever this is so busy. So I think you've done a good job to not let the background be too hectic as well. Yeah. Nice to see we've got some shadow detail here underneath the jawline and stuff. So lighting wise, we're not dealing with tons and tons of clip data here. Got some shape on the arm here, which is nice. Maybe just bring this side light up a tiny bit higher, because we can see from where this ends here. We kind of want it up a little bit more here. We can kind of see on the snake here as well. It's just coming kind of like coming from here. Just try and bring up these edge lights, these higher if you can. I've been doing that with phone. Not sure on that one though. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, it's always the way, man. Always the way. You always don't get the BTS on the one that you need it. And yes, by all means do it on the phone. Yeah, by all means do it on the phone. Sometimes it's just easier to keep them on the same drive, as it were, so that you know exactly where they are, rather than trying to match them up later on. And the Medusa shot was great fun. I'm editing Pixel Moment. Yeah, I bet. But thank you for sharing this one though. I know you literally just shot it, so it's really cool. Yeah. One from Melissa here. Monochromatic color palette with an offshoot of complementary. Oh, getting fancy with the color theory. Okay. This was done with a single red gel, honestly, on the right side of the model. ISO 135mm 4.5. Gel was camera left on the 8200. Can't go wrong with those. It's a really simple setup, but the emotion was well worth it. I applied some of the CC I got last week to this one. Nice. Okay, cool. This is actually really interesting as well, because I'm just kind of curious here if we bring this in. So you see what Melissa's doing here with color density, right? You see how we've lost the shape in black and white, but when we look at the color version, look at the shape, because she's using the intensity of yellow here to give us this priority, right? This visual dominance. And this is like dominant and recessive colors and that sort of thing as well. But we can immediately see how this yellow is being more dominant here, which is giving us the impression of that key light. In reality, though, pretty much the same exposure, right? So very kind of cool to see that, being shown that color density really doing its work there. And you don't if you're using color properly, you don't really need to go, oh, I need to use it as a key light, or I need to use it as a fill light, 2 stops under and 1 stop over. If you're using colors in this way like this, you can create shape and dominance with color alone, not just brightness and density. So yeah, this is cool. This is very cool. Yeah. Sorry, James. Yeah, sorry. I thought it was yours, Beauty. Yeah, I thought it was yours. Yeah. Yeah. This is cool. I mean, we've got a little bit of a hint of light back there, so some shape. So the only thing I would say is just, I mean, we may. I would just like to see you can maybe be able to pull it back in post, but I'd just like to see just a tiny bit more definition here, because we've got this really strong shape on this side. I'd just like to see if you just see a tiny bit more separation back there, just so we know where the background ends and the model begins. Like, you could probably pick that out in post. It wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, very cool shot. Yeah. Zaki, same color, saturated brighter than another thing sent you last week. Exactly. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. One from Jason here. This is cool. Rooftop in Brisbane. Oh, another Oz. Mate, it's fucking all over. They're loving that 30-degree weather. Bastards. Small rig RC60C and a Zoom. Sorry, for some reason. My bad. Just seeing it in lowercase threw me. M20C. Okay. This is beautiful, man. This background is awesome. Yeah. If we had some grain in this, Vlad, we really would have saved this compression here. This background looks crazy. So cool. Yeah, beautiful. And the colors as well. I feel like this is a little bit hot. I don't know if this is a light you can control on the left-hand side here, small rig. But this is kind of blown out to the point of losing the color. So I may want to bring that back in. Bring that back down just a touch, but otherwise I kind of love the separation that you have here with, we don't have any of this kind of upstage light coming onto the front here, which is cool. Yeah, love the colors. Yeah, I just feel like we could just bring down the exposure on this upstage light just a touch, if you can, or whether that's just hanging off a building somewhere and that's not your light. Yeah. About how far from the model did you have to the lights with that combination of the head to the foot with a reasonable price to here in Australia? Look at the Oz's chicken out. Okay, Jason. So that's cool then. So you actually have that data there. So that's fine then. You could just go back into post and balance that out if you wanted to. Yeah. So you would just, because they're two different colors. So if you wanted to, you could expose those two different colors separately in post. So you could save that purple rather than letting it pump out. Because I know you've just brightened the whole image to bring up the blue. But yeah. So that's the raw. The purple light was about 1 meter away. The backlight was on about the right side. So 1 meter away. Okay. Yeah. Just, I know you can bring that back in post. I feel like this purple is spot on exposed. The blue is obviously we could do with bringing that up a little bit. Yeah, on the day. Yeah. Got one here from Lennart. Controlling light in and around a bathtub was not easy but well worth it. This is awesome. Yeah, this is awesome. Ambient blue light was produced by a simple LED with blue gel. Okay, so you can see a catch light here and here. There's the blue light. Ambient blue light was produced with a simple LED blue light. Didn't have RGB cob at the time. It's gridded softbox. An orange light was produced by 2 small RGB LED panels. Okay, that lit up the foam, diffusing the light beautifully. They're under the water though, right? Like there's no way they're not under the water. Or are they just strapped to the side of the bathtub here and you're just skimming across the foam? I didn't want to spend hundreds for underwater lamps that I probably wouldn't need a second time, so I always do this. Sorry, I got to stop asking questions before I read the full thing. Sorry. I didn't want to spend hundreds for underwater lamps, so I probably wouldn't need a second time, so I just used watertight beach foam bags. Perfect. Great workaround, and I agree. Yeah, that's a great idea. I was like, is he really skimming that orange across that foam? That's cool. This is a great shot. And like normally, light from below just doesn't work, but that's a very kind of sinister pose, and angular pose, very kind of powerful pose as well. So I think you'd absolutely get away with that light on that pose as well. Yeah. Really nice, just kiss of blue light on the subject here as well. This is a great shot. Yeah, really cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. Good angle as well. I think you got a cool angle there. Yeah. I think you could probably, if you were being really finicky, you could probably afford to just knock this brightness back here just a touch. And you didn't even need to go in there and do it manually. You could just knock this whole corner back. But we really want the focus to be here, and I just think this kind of bright corner here is kind of dominating. You wouldn't need to do much at all to kind of knock that back, and that would really just kind of bring out the face there. Yeah. Overlay them, Jack. I know you want to. No, I'm not doing it. There are water resistant RGB strips from AliExpress that I think would also work for underwater. Is there like a benefit to that, Vlad? I mean, I suppose if you were doing a lot of underwater stuff or like rainy stuff, it would be worth getting. But I think the workaround that Lennart's got here is makes sense, right? Especially when you can get these kind of bags. In fact, I think my Godox tubes that they gave me actually came with like extended waterproof bags, which is kind of cool. So I don't know how many packs actually come with waterproof kind of accessories now, but I have seen it several times. Yeah. Paul, man, a few words, mate. Man, a few words. But this is great. This is really cool. Very clean separation here. Yeah. I think I've worked with her before, right? Paul, you're not in chat, are you? Yeah. It's you. Yeah, you are in chat. Yeah. Yeah, this is beautiful, there, man. Yeah, really good stuff. And what lights are you using here? Are you using LEDs or are you using strobes or what are you doing here? Yeah. If you want to get RGB light underwater for cheap, I guess they could come in handy if like the tubes outdoors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was strobe. Okay. Old school, man. Okay, I respect it. But yeah, beautiful work, man. Yeah, really good stuff. Yeah. What's her name? Paul. It's Little B. Is it Little B? Is it something like that? Yeah. Is this is this kind of similar to one of my techniques where you have the kind of the black velvet and then the color coming from behind, so it's one light to create this rim light? Paul, is that what that is? Still tickling my yeah. And a B. Okay, yeah. It is that setup. Okay. Super effective, man. Yeah, really effective. Yeah. I think because isn't that what I did with the Rotolite video, Paul? I vaguely remember doing that. I had black velvet draped in front of a softbox, if I remember. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's a strobe? I said. Daniel's obviously started drinking. I'm glad you'd have definitely considered those. If I do the bathtub shoot again, I'll use some magnetic ones that stick to the bottom of the bag. Splendid. That's a great counter to the bag argument. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. So what you're saying there is that you're sort of able to put them in bags, but they're just going to float. So yeah, how do you stop that from happening? So that is a great argument for actually just getting waterproof lights. Yeah. Was it dark field illumination? Let's see if everything comes up with that. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with that. So it's kind of similar to this one, right? Where you just have so you're basically creating that beautiful rim light with just one light. I'm not saying this is how Paul did it, but this is how I've done it in the past, right? So you have this beautiful soft rim light from one light, and then obviously you can just gel that as well. Yeah. But yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Really good. Nailed it. I got Steve giving me the up-to-date links. That's good. And then last but not least, we have Chris here. Yeah. New question: Can you own only 3 color backdrops while the NY? White, grey, and black. The rest you can just gel. Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah. Honestly, that's that like 90% of all your work can be done with white, grey, and black. Yeah. So Chris here, a 6x photo, built a small set inside the studio on the weekend from some props that were lying around, going for low-key nighttime look using, I think, 2 Rhodolite EOS and a Neo behind the mirror. Nice touch, man. I didn't notice that. Clever. Yeah, I can see that. That's kind of a cool glow. Subtle. I like it. Yeah. Going for looking nighttime. Look, using 2 Rhodolites EOS and a Neo behind the mirror. 85mm Sony A1. A shot I've wanted to try for some time. Shot Neon Dream Studio and a hook. This is cool, man. It's really cool. Yeah. And this is, definitely got that cinematic vibe. Do you know what? Now that I see that light behind the mirror, I think that's a really cool touch. Yeah. And I think you've done well to balance that, to really separate that mirror from the background without it being too dominant. I think that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, definitely that nighttime vibe. Yeah. I think it would have been easy to overlight this as well, Chris, but I think you've done a good job to keep it balanced. Yeah. I feel like we're getting some clipped data here in these colors, but if you're worried about that, you could probably grade that out. But yeah, really cool, very cool. Feel free to criticize heavily. No need to hold back courtesy for harsh feedback. As I need to improve. I'm aware the mirror reflection could have been better than that is there. You don't have to show it now, Chris, but I would be interested to see the raw on this as to know what's going on with these colors here, because I can see that we are getting a lot of kind of overlap on colors here, which could be avoided if you wanted to, and this is why we're kind of getting some of these clipped colors here, which we can kind of see this muddy tone here. So yeah. Look, I know we've worked together in the past, so if you wanted to email me just a JPEG of the raw so I can kind of see what's going on, happy to take a look. But yeah, I think there's something going on with the color here where it's getting muddy and we're kind of losing that. One of the reasons maybe is where we're getting overlap. Yeah. No worries, Chris. No worries. Yeah. Short throw projector. What's that for? Short throw projector on what? Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I agree with Vlad that you can pick up some cheap hand painted ones. I got some fabric ones that if they're going to be out of focus behind, you can get them for like 40 quid or something like that. Yeah, you don't need much. Yeah. Vlad's still got his from school by the looks of it, but yeah, you can use you can use anyone you want. Some of them can be super expensive, like many hundreds. Yeah. When you were talking about backgrounds, oh yeah, true, Steve. Yeah, short throw has its place. Yeah, short throw has its place. Yeah. Distracted by the backrest of the chair. Oh, really, Vlad? Okay. I don't see it as an issue. I think it had a lot of light there, I would have been more concerned with it. But I think we definitely have the light here. Yeah. Really cool though, Chris. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Paint mode. Exactly, you could do that as well. It's going to be, yeah, if you shoot 1.2, then yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Just double check. I don't have any stragglers here, but I mean, guys, honestly, I know we've been having a bit of banter here, but this is really good work from everybody. Everybody's images here are outstanding, right? To the point that we're going to have to kind of ban some of you, yeah, because it's starting to look bad. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, and look, if you're in chat and you look at these images going, holy shit, man, I just, the work here is incredible. I don't want to, I don't want to share my work. Please don't feel like you're, that you shouldn't. Everybody here, myself included, all started somewhere, and we're here sharing ideas. That's what it's for. And if you've got a question about something, this is one of the best places to get it. I mean, if I don't know, then somebody in chat will know. So I think you'd be hard pressed to come up with a problem that we couldn't solve or answer here with Vlad's code to AliExpress. I'm sure we can sort it out. Fantastic, guys. Outstanding. It's getting late here. It's coming up to 10 o'clock here in the UK. So I'm just going to start wrapping this up. Don't forget, if you want to learn any more kind of advanced lighting, some more in-depth lighting, then don't forget to check out some of my online courses, which are one-to-one with me. And they go over some of the more kind of creative lighting that that I've done over the years. Definitely check those out. On top of that, I do kind of more targeted training as well in terms of mentoring, which I do with several people on a weekly basis. So make sure you take a look at that as well, whether it be business or feedback on post-production or, developing a style, anything like that. So take a look. But yeah. So the bad news is I'm going away to Hong Kong in a couple of weeks, so that there won't be a stream for a little while now, I'm afraid. Yeah, so obviously we'll continue them when I get back, but until then, save up those incredible images, as I'm sure we can take a look at them. I'm sure Godox would have released another 50 products by the time I get back, so we'll have loads to talk about then as well. But yeah, thank you so much everybody tuning in. Thank you especially doubly much to people who submitted an image for us to look at. Hats off to all of you who put yourselves out there to share your images. It's not easy. Share your work, especially in a forum as, you know, high quality as this. You know, it takes balls. So appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks so much. Do what Jamie says, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and let's pick this up when I get back from Hong Kong. All right, take it easy. Bye.